When you picture California, what comes to mind? Majestic redwoods, the glimmering waves of the Pacific? Welcome to Sonoma Coast Redwoods, a stunning 1,624-acre landscape where coastal grasslands meet redwood forests. Right now, development threatens this vital ecosystem, but you can help stop it. Save the Redwoods League has a bold plan to purchase and protect this landscape, and your donation at savetheredwoods.org will be matched. Act now to protect what makes California special. Visit savetheredwoods.org today.
Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Humor today, as you know, our friend Jimmy is going to be excited because it's time for Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma, and an auction that Jimmy wished he could have won. Also an episode of the Jack Benny program, Fred Allen, also a date with Judy and Claudia. That's all coming up on this Monday. This is the 6th day of January. 359 days remaining till we get to 2026. Samuel F.B. Morse successfully tested the electrical telegraph on this date in 1838. Washington National Cathedral, chartered by Congress on this date in 1893. Charter signed by President Benjamin Harrison. Maria Montessori opened her first school and daycare center for working-class children in Rome on this date in 1907. Happy birthday, New Mexico. You were admitted as the 47th State of the Union in 1912. And in 1929, Mother Teresa arrived in Calcutta to begin a legacy of work among India's poorest and diseased people. The first diesel engine automobile trip completed on this date in 1930, Indianapolis to New York City. And in 1931, Thomas Edison submitted his final patent application. Porky Pig premiered on this big screen on this date in 1931. And on this date in 1941, Franklin Delano Roosevelt delivered his For Freedom speech in the State of the Union address.
In the future days, which we seek to make secure, we look forward to a world founded upon four essential human freedom. The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world. The second is freedom of every person to worship God in his own way everywhere in the world. The third is freedom from want, which translated into world terms means economic understandings which will secure to every nation a healthy, peacetime life for its inhabitants everywhere in the world. The fourth is freedom from fear, which translated into world terms means a worldwide reduction of armaments to such a point and in such a thorough fashion that no nation will be in a position to commit an act of physical aggression against any neighbor anywhere in the world.
President Roosevelt on this date in 1941. A year later, Pan American Airlines became the first commercial airline to have a flight go all the way around the world. In response to the energy crisis on this date in 1974, daylight saving time commenced nearly 4 months early in the U.S. I can tell you that the people who experienced that, it was not pleasant because the sun would not be coming up until almost, in some areas of the country, almost 9 o'clock in the morning. And having children going to school in the dark was not something that parents really was a good idea. So all the talk about year-round daylight saving time or getting rid of daylight saving time, I understand it annoys people. But there's one thing you do need to understand. You're going to have one of two things happen. You're going to have either it dark until 9 o'clock in the morning, or you're going to have the sun coming up about 4 o'clock in the morning in the summertime. So figure it out. 1980, President Carter signed the Chrysler Loan Guarantee Act on this date in 1980, permitting the federal government to guarantee $1.5 billion in loans to Chrysler from private sources, provided an additional $2 billion in commitments or concessions can be arranged by Chrysler for the financing of its operations.
This is just a great day for a lot of people who work very hard in Detroit, and we're going to make the most of it. We're going to merit the confidence of everybody in this room, given about 6 months a year of hard work.
Chrysler Chairman Lee Iacocca, the bailouts kept Chrysler going for a number of years. And let's be honest, Chrysler paid back all their bailouts money. They did. Amid great secrecy, Dan White, the man convicted of killing Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk in 1978, released from prison on this date in 1984 and began serving a one-year parole in Los Angeles County.
Yesterday was the last day that Dan White could spend knowing he would live through that day. Today, Dan White starts a life sentence. And I'm sorry to say, it's not going to be a long one.
Activist Dan Fertig at a protest following White's release. White would take his own life a year and a half later. It was on this date in 1994, one of the weirdest chapters of skating took place as Nancy Kerrigan clubbed on the right leg by an assailant.
Hit you? Let me get married. Who hit you?
He just ran around that center there.
A man hit her? Man hit you? And hit her?
The assailant attacked Nancy Kerrigan under orders from figure skating rival Tonya Harding. Two longtime members of the Harlem Globetrotters had their numbers retired on this date in 2001. Marcus Haynes and Meadowlark Lemon had long stints with the company, Lemon playing in 16,000 games between 1954 and 1979. Edgar Ray Killian arrested on this date in 2005 as a suspect for the 1964 murder of 3 civil rights workers. And in 2006, Tropical Storm Zeta dissipated, ending the notorious 2005 hurricane season. Passing away on this date in history, President Theodore Roosevelt, jazz trumpeter Dizzy Gillespie, singer Lou Rawls, One Day at a Time, Pat Harrington, also director, producer, screenwriter Peter Bogdanovich, and a very fine actor, Sidney Poitier.
My career was almost in tandem with the civil rights movement. And that time made the energy, socially and politically, advantageous for such things to happen.
Poitier talking about his civil rights advocacy during his year. Sidney Poitier passing away on this date 3 years ago today. Birthdays on this date, and we mentioned earlier that Pat Harrington passed away on this date. Bonnie Franklin from One Day at a Time, born on this date in history, as was Vic Tayback, Mel on Alice. He was born on this date. Musician Earl Scruggs, automaker John DeLorean, actor Danny Thomas, actress Loretta Young, actor Tom Mix, Carl Sandburg, the poet, and statesman Ben Franklin, all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Nino Tempo, the fine singer-actor born on this date. He's 90 years old today. Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, is 70.
I love the insularity of Mr. Bean, this sort of self-centeredness which reflects in the fact that, if I have to get myself into the part, I don't need another person or a situation or a prop in order to create him.
Rowan Atkinson talking about Mr. Bean. 70 years old today is Atkinson. A couple of pro wrestlers turning 61 today. Jacqueline Moore and Conan, who's had a lot of health issues, and we wish him the best. Entrepreneur Eric Trump, 41, also turning 41. A lady who made her best times on Saturday Night Live as Hillary Clinton. Kate McKinnon, 41 today.
I have a 1-year-old granddaughter. She calls me Madam President.
From Saturday Night Live, Kate McKinnon, 41. And from Mad Max Fury Road, Courtney Eaton is 29. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 6th day of January as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
We baked you a birthday cake. If you get a tummy ache and you moan and groan and woe, don't forget we told you so. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Make a wish, dear, and blow out the candles.
Here they go.
We'll get started on this edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of My Friend Irma, here from 1952.
The National Safety Council reports that highway accidents are being reduced and lives being saved. But accidents are still a national problem. The major causes of traffic casualties are speed, drink, and carelessness. Driving too fast for road conditions is one of the most common causes of traffic accidents. Next to speed, driving on the wrong side of the road was reported as the most frequent driver violation of common sense in the safety laws. And 1/4 of the fatal accidents involve a driver or pedestrian who's been drinking. Take the responsibility on yourself and urge safety precautions in your community. Every motorist and every pedestrian should obey traffic signs and signals. Never drive after drinking. Never drive on the wrong side of the road. Watch for warnings on grade crossings. Be alert and careful every moment you're behind the wheel. Remember, the life you save may be your own.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 73 years to January 6, 1952. Marie Wilson as My Friend Irma.
Folks, be sure to stay tuned to My Friend Irma today until the end of the program, when your friend Irma will have a surprising offer to make.
Yep, there she stands. Irma Peterson, my wonderful roommate. And a girl who I am proud to say is so stupid she thinks flypaper is the stationery they use in airplanes. That's nothing. Yesterday she took a package of ends and tied them all together. So I said, Irma, what's the idea? And she said,
well, a good housekeeper never leaves any loose ends lying around.
But housekeepers, stenographers, businessmen, everybody knows that ENNDS, the really effective chlorophyll tablets, are wonderful to carry around because they stop triple O. Stop odors of body, odors of breath, odor of fence. It's amazing, but 1 or 2 tiny ENDS tablets daily stop all 3 forms of odor offense. Keep you fresh as a daisy all over, all day. And now ends America's most popular chlorophyll tablets, are proud to present your favorite comedy show created by Cy Howard and starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane in
My Friend Irma. When you finish that magazine, can I have it?
All right, Jane, I'm just reading the news. Oh, how do you like this?
What?
It says, President Truman to clean house. I guess the maid must have quit.
Well, maybe she's sore because she's the only one in Washington who didn't get a mink coat.
Yeah. Oh, and listen to this. Winston Churchill has sold his memoirs to Life magazine for $250,000.
What about it?
I wonder what I could get for mine.
Oh, I don't know, 10, 20 years.
No, Jane, seriously, I've been keeping a diary, and I think it's so good it can be published.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, it's all about my life from the time I left the farm in Minnesota till the time I came to New York.
I got a great title for you. Was this trip necessary?
Thank you, but I can figure out my own title. Now, let's see. Churchill had some very tough jobs to handle. That's why he's called his life Trial by Fire.
Well, I've seen the way you handle jobs, Cookie. Why don't you call yourself fired after every trial? Look, Irma, don't go off on another kick, will you?
But Churchill got all that money.
Honey, Churchill is a leader, a diplomat, a military man. Why, just his record with the Navy.
Believe me, Jane, he hasn't fought off any more sailors than I have. Why don't you read my memoirs before you pass judgment?
Well,
here, it's right here on the table.
Must I?
Please.
Okay, honey, I'll try. Let's see. The Life of Irma Peterson. Chapter 1, I Am Born. I was born on a farm in Minnesota in 1929. Wasn't that the year the whole country went to pot?
Oh, please, Jane, no comments. Read on.
Okay, honey. My father and mother were very poor. All they had was a cow named Alice, 1 donkey, and 6 pigs, and I was a welcome addition to the family. Oh.
Good, isn't it, Jane? Do you think I can get Life to buy this?
Yeah, I think there's a chance you could get Life for this.
Oh, I know what you mean, Jane. Don't think it's very nice of you to discourage me.
Will you get one thing in your head, Irma? Everybody writes memoirs, but Churchill's was bought because it was dramatic. It was full of action, and he faced one crisis after another.
My life has been full of crises. Look at this right here on page 8. I was going to school, and they sent for my father. It was a little red schoolhouse.
Well, come in. I'm Mr. Peterson. Oh, Irma's father. I'm glad you came. Mr. Peterson, something must be done about this girl. As you know, we took her IQ.
Yes, I understand she owes the school 5 points.
She was showing some improvement, but now she's reached the age where she can't concentrate. All she thinks about is boys.
Boys?
That's the only thing on her mind. Men. I'll show you. Irma, will you please turn around?
Oh, hello, Daddy. What is it, teacher?
What is the largest river in the United States?
Mississippi.
And what's the capital of the United States?
Boys Town.
You see, we have arrived at a crisis in this girl's life. Either she gets better marks or I suggest you marry her off.
Which shall it be, daughter?
Oh, Daddy, of course I want to stay in school. All girls go through this stage. But I'm fighting it off. I'm not going to think of men or boys anymore. I'm through with them.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, daughter, because who knows? If you get good marks in school, they're liable to give you a fellowship.
Oh, that's wonderful. What does he look like? At the age of 16, I left for New York. By mistake, I got on a cattle train. It was a terrible trip. The food was dreadful.
April shower, it would surely be a sin.
I'll get it gladly. Wow, hi, Miss O'Reilly. You're in grand voice tonight. What's the name of that song?
It's called It's a Sin. But the professor says the way I sing it, it's not a sin. It's more of a crime. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
But nothing. Irma is reading her memoirs.
Well, what do you know? I guess all we girls are the same, you know. I keep a diary.
Don't tell me you're thinking about having it published.
Why not? It could sort of be the woman's answer to the Kinsey report. You know, I go all the way back to the Spanish-American War.
That far?
Yes, and you should see how the servicemen used to hang around me house. If it wasn't for me, goodness knows how many men would have gone down with the main.
Oh, don't bother telling Jane about it. To her, you're nobody unless you're Winston Churchill.
Oh, I don't understand.
Well, you see, Mrs. O'Reilly, come in.
It's only me, Professor Kropotkin. Hello, girls. I'm Mrs. O'Reilly. Tonight I got no insults for you.
Well, thank you.
I just got one simple request. Please stop singing outside of my room. You wake up the termites, it reminds them that I still got some furniture left. Irma, you've got a book in your hand. You're gonna swat flies?
No, Professor. Little Miss Shakespeare has written her memoirs, and because Winston Churchill had his published, she thinks she should have hers published.
I don't know where you girls get these ideas. I remember the time Mrs. O'Reilly sent in her picture for the cover of a national magazine.
And why not? They wanted a picture of an average girl who represented typical American womanhood.
Well, there I can't argue, because I have always felt that you were the type of woman that should be covered with a hood. Believe me, if they ever put your picture on the cover of Look, they would change the name of the magazine to Save Your Eyes.
Irma, stick to your guns. I guarantee some publisher would buy my diary if he had enough asbestos to print it on.
Mrs. O'Reilly, you keep a diary?
Well, I think of it more as a score sheet. It's a list of the men who have succumbed to me charms.
Well, you know, you got a very good chance to sell it. They're always looking for horror stories.
Oh, please, we're not discussing Miss O'Reilly's diary. I want to know who'll publish my memoirs.
Hey, that must be the milkman at the back door.
Hello, Miss Stacy. I saw your note here, but I'm sorry. I'm all out of sour cream.
Oh, no sour cream?
Sorry.
Oh, just a minute, Mr. Milkman. Will you come in here?
What is it, Miss Peterson?
Well, I have a book, and I want the honest opinion of the man on the street. Here, read this page and tell me what you think.
Oh, Cookie, really?
I'd be glad to. Let's see. When I was a 16-year-old girl, I came to New York. My first trip was to Grant's tomb. I waited around all day, but he did not come out. I was very disappointed, as Cary Grant is my favorite actor.
Well, how do you like it?
Well, Miss Stacy, as I was saying, we have no sour cream. But if you just hold this book over the sweet cream I left, I'm sure you'll get the same results. Goodbye.
Back, everybody. The tide's coming in again. Irma, honey, please understand. It's just that...
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, but Irma, darling...
If you'll just listen.
No, I don't want to hear a word from any of you. You're all against me. I'm going to talk to the only person who really loves me, Al.
Irma.
Don't try to stop me. You'll regret this day. My memoirs will be published, and who knows? It may even win the Pugilist Prize.
The Pugilist Prize?
Yes.
It's very possible. This should knock out the publishing business in the first round.
Shoo, get out of here.
Oh, Al.
Chicken.
I've been looking all over for you, Al. You've given up your old park bench.
Yeah, I had an argument with Bernard Baruch. What's that you got under your arm, Chicken? Sandwiches?
No, that's a book. It's my life story, my memoirs.
Have you got me in your book?
Yes. I want to get it published. Al, do you know a publisher?
Oh, sure. Know a good one. My friend Benny. He prints them tip sheets for the racetracks.
Oh, but Al, do you think he's the man to print my life story?
Don't worry, chicken. He'll put a picture of you on the cover so people will know it ain't about a horse.
Oh.
Sure. Here's his address.
Oh, gee, I'll call him up. Gee, Al, I don't know how much to ask for my story.
Oh, be tough, chicken. Tell him you want $5,000 if the book is a winner, and 3 and 2 for place and show.
O. Guard against triple O.
Yes, guard against triple O. Odor of breath, odor of body, odor of fence. If you've been using old-fashioned body deodorants, mouthwashes, toothpaste, or deodorant soap to avoid offending, now here's an easier, quicker, much more effective way to keep fresh as a daisy all over, all day long.
Take N's today. Chase triple O away.
Yes, 1 or 2 tiny N's chlorophyll tablets protect you against all 3. Odor of body, odor of breath, odor of fence. No muss, no fuss. Stop triple O in minutes. Prove it with a famous N's test. Rub an onion slice on your hand. Now take an N's chlorophyll tablet. Moisten and rub it on the same spot. The odor's gone. That's how N's work, where odors begin inside your body to stop triple O. And remember, N's contain 100 milligrams, a fully effective dose of Daratol chlorophyll. Don't expect such lasting protection from cheap chewing gum and candy substitutes which contain so little chlorophyll.
Take N's today. Chase triple O away.
Insist on N's, called N's, because they end your worries about triple O. That's ENNDS, N's chlorophyll tablets.
Safe.
Safe as any garden vegetable. Effective, pleasant tasting. Trial size N's only 49 cents at drug counters everywhere. Larger sizes even more economical.
And remember, stay tuned to My Friend Irma today to hear a surprise offer for you from your friend Irma.
An appointment with a publisher. She won't tell me who he is, but in her own mind, her memoirs are as good as sold. And is she acting the part?
Jane, my dear.
Yes, Schnook, what is it?
What a lovely day. Isn't the weather congealing today?
Congealing? What do you mean?
I don't know, but I think an author should use big words.
Well, by all means. It's so ricochet. Cookie, is your book going to have a dedication?
Yes, Jane, I'm dedicating it to you. Oh. On the first page it will say, "To Jane Stacy, my best friend, without to whom I would be nothing."
Without to whom?
That's right. You must never split in an infirmary.
Sweetie, honey, I want you to know that nothing you ever do will touch me as much as the fact that you want to dedicate your memoirs to me.
Oh, thanks.
Honestly, I love you for it.
Thank you.
But at the same time, Irma, I don't want to see you get hurt. And what if...
If they don't publish my book? Oh, Jane, it's impossible. They must love my book. I'm going to be world famous. Why, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if I was buried in Westminster Lobby.
Well, they'll have to put up signs, watch your step. Irma, you better get to the office. You have a boss who is an author.
Mr. Clyde?
Mm-hmm. He writes those little pink slips that say you're fired. Go on. Hurry up.
Oh, I will. Oh, and Jane, do you think when I become a famous author I should buy a Duesenberg?
A Duesenberg?
Yeah, you know, one of those big foreign dogs.
Goodbye, Miss Hemingway.
Ah, welcome, Miss Peterson.
And how is my favorite Bannister today?
Bannister?
Yeah, that's English for lawyer.
Oh, is it? Bannister. Well, I'm a little tired. A lot of kids have been sliding down me today.
What's the idea of the fancy talk?
Well, I've become an author.
Miss Peterson, I've told you a dozen times to be careful in the subway. You've hit your head on the turnstile again.
No, really, I've written a book, The Story of My Life.
Mm-hmm. What are you calling it? Why Was I Born?
No, it hasn't got a title yet, but I have an appointment with a publisher, and I want you to draw up a contract.
I wouldn't think of
Oh,
it.
please, Mr. Clyde, it's for my future. And besides, you'll be famous. I wrote about you in my memoirs.
Wait a minute. What did you write?
Oh, it's very flattering. I wrote what a big criminal lawyer you are. In fact, I laid it on.
You did?
Yes. In fact, I said that no lawyer in the state has a bigger criminal record.
You'll take me out of that book at once, do you hear?
But it's already written.
Take me out.
Well, I will if you draw up the contract.
It's blackmail. Very well. What do you want me to put in the contract?
Oh, let's see. Well, if my life is made into a movie, I want my part to be played by a suitable star.
Do you wish me to specify anyone in particular?
Do you have anyone in mind?
Yes, Francis, the talking mule.
Oh, Mr. Clyde, now this is very serious. Do you realize how much money Winston Churchill made on his memoirs?
Miss Peterson, there's a slight difference. Churchill was valiant. He never stooped before a conqueror.
What about me?
It's the reverse. No one ever conquered your stupidity. But just in case some publisher is sore enough at the world to print this monstrosity of yours, make sure you get a royalty.
A royalty nothing doing. I'm not going to give up my citizenship for anyone.
Oh, no.
Oh, here it is. Turf Publishing Company. Oh, dear, close by order of the police.
Yes, miss?
I was in the neighborhood. I'm looking for a publisher, and I saw the sign on the door.
I see. I'm Mr. Brooks. Is that the manuscript under your arm?
Yes, it's my memoirs.
Oh, have you used the current technique, introspective?
No, I've kept it clean. It's the story of my life.
May I see it?
Yes, I changed the beginning.
To Jane Stacy, without to whom I would be nothing. I live in New York City with Jane and the professor and Mrs. O'Reilly. People I think the world. Think the world?
Well, I left out of because you can't end a sentence with a pronoun. So I took all the words I had to leave out and put them on 3 separate pages in back of the book.
My, it's 4 o'clock. I'm late for tea. Goodbye.
Yes, Leah? My name is Ernest Hemingway.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I've just taken that from my pen name. Irma Peterson doesn't seem to get me very far.
What can we do for you?
Well, it says on the door, Professor Nicholas Authors Institute. I've written a book.
May I see it?
Here.
I live in New York City, and people I think the world. Could you leave this here, miss? We usually don't publish books, but I'm sure Professor Nichols would be interested in seeing this.
Oh, thank you. And I want to call the book Halfway to Heaven.
Halfway to Heaven? What an unusual title. Where'd you get it?
From my boss. He always says I'm dead from the neck up.
Irma, honey, stop that whimpering.
But it's been 5 days, and I haven't heard from Professor Nichols.
Don't take it so hard, Irma. So what if you're not a writer? What's so good about being a writer? Most of them are starving. They live in a cold, dark garret with no furniture, no plumbing, no... Say, come to think of it, all I need is a pencil.
Irma, darling, laugh it off. Personally, I don't see why you want the whole world to know about your life. I like to keep the men guessing about me age and my beauty secrets. You know, sort of a human quiz program.
And that's how I think of you, Mrs. O'Reilly, a quiz program.
Because every time I look at your red hair, your pearly teeth, and your fluttering eyelashes, I say to myself, true or false?
Look who's talking, you skinny old needle nose. I've got a good mind to run a thread through your ears and darn me stockings.
Hello? Yes, this is Irma Peterson. Ooh, Professor Nichols? You read my book? You're sending me a check for $100. Oh, see the ad in today's paper. Oh, thank you, Mr. Nichols. Goodbye. Jane, did you hear?
Oh, Irma.
Congratulations, Irma.
Glory be. Oh, isn't it wonderful? And all you people thought I had no talent.
Oh, honey, I can't wait till the paper boy gets here so we can see the ad.
Oh, I can't get over it. I'm a famous author. Now, let me see. How do authors spend their money? First, I'll buy a mansion in France. You know, a chapeau.
Yeah, and you could buy one of those stunning Parisian gowns. You know, a crepe Suzette.
Well, maybe that's a paper boy. Come in.
Hey, Jim.
Oh, Al, wait till you hear the news.
Yeah, what?
Professor Nichols is sending me $100 for my life story.
Well, ain't that great? Always thought well of this author racket. Friend of mine does terrific writing numbers.
Is that today's paper, Al?
Uh-huh.
Well, let me see it. Yeah, and I said page 12. Wait a minute. Look. Wait. Oh, here it is. Professor Nichols Authors Institute. Oh, look, everybody. Look, they quote the beginning of my book.
Oh.
I live in New York City with Jane and the professor and Mrs. O'Reilly. People I think the world.
Irma, read the big printing underneath.
I used to write this way before I took Professor Nichols' writing course.
Irma and Jane will be back in a moment, and you'll hear that surprise offer we've been talking about. But first...
Can't anything be done about triple O?
Yes, here's amazing news about a scientific odor test. 8 out of 10 men and women stopped or definitely reduced triple O.
Stopped odor of body, stopped odor of breath, stopped offending.
Executives, secretaries, clerks, even factory workers at 110 degrees heat took N's chlorophyll tablets. Results from thousands of examinations were astounding.
Working inside the body where odors begin, N's actually prevented unpleasing odors from forming. Stopped odors of body, odors of breath, offensive odors of any kind. Stopped all 3.
Yes, there's scientific proof that N's really stopped triple O. Keep you fresh as a daisy all over, all day long. You get more complete, more lasting protection against triple O than from any old-fashioned body deodorant, toothpaste, soap, mouthwash. And N's are so easy to use.
Safe.
Safe as any green vegetable, pleasant tasting. N's contain 100 milligrams, a fully effective dose of Daritol chlorophyll. So beware of cheap chewing gum or candy substitutes that contain so little chlorophyll or that fail to state their chlorophyll content on the label. Insist on N's chlorophyll tablets. That's N's, E-N-N-D-S. Trial size only 49 cents. Larger sizes even more economical.
Stop triple O with N's.
To those gentlemen who award the Nobel Prize, will you please scratch out Irma Peterson's name? She ain't running. In fact, she's given up all thought of publishing her memoirs at present. What made you decide that, Irma?
Well, I don't think I've had enough experience yet.
Oh, I see.
Lincoln and Henry Ford and Roosevelt all had their biographies published after they were dead. Maybe I'll write better by then.
Oh, isn't she brilliant? Well, how would you like to have your friend Irma work for you for one day in your office? Yes, this is a serious offer. For the highest amount bid, Irma Peterson will come to your hometown, be it north, south, east, or west, and work for you for a full day. And the full amount which you paid for her services will go directly to the March of Dimes Fund for the fight against the dread disease, infantile paralysis. That's right. My friend Irma, in person, will be secretary to the man or woman in the United States who sends in the highest bid for her services. So don't hesitate. Write or wire in to My Friend Irma, CBS Hollywood. And who knows, you may have the pleasure of being able to tell your grandchildren, I had My Friend Irma as my secretary. And you'll have the greater pleasure of being able to tell them that the money you paid went to the March of Dimes.
Irma, I just think it's wonderful of you to make this offer, but what if you have to go far, far away? Say even to, Illinois.
I'll go. All I've got to do is learn the language the people in Illinois speak.
You know, folks, I want to join in asking you to make the highest bids possible, because when you do, you'll be making an awful lot of people happy, not to mention me and my friend Irma.
My Friend Irma is a Cy Howard production and is directed by Park Levy, who writes the script with Stanley Adams. Pat Burton is associate producer. Marie Wilson is starred as Irma, and Kathy Lewis as Jane. The part of Al was played by John Brown. Hans Conried was heard as Professor Kropotkin, Gloria Gordon as Mrs. O'Reilly, and Alan Reed as Mr. Clyde. Music was under the direction of Lud Gruskin.
You can't have a sparkling personality if you don't have sparkling eyes. And you can't have sparkling eyes if they're tired, dull, red from lack of sleep, driving, wind, or glare. So get Eye-Gene. 1 or 2 drops in each eye float away that tired eye feeling. Leave eyes refreshed. Then your whole face lights up. Eye-Gene is like a prescription. Contains Lexitol, a tonic for your eyes. Safe, gentle. Eye-Gene, EYEGENE at drug counters everywhere. Trial size only 25 cents. Larger sizes even more economical. Be with us next Sunday at this time when N's, America's most popular chlorophyll tablets, again bring you My Friend Irma. Carl Caruso speaking.
Stay tuned for Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, which follows immediately on most of these same CBS stations.
My Friend Irma was transcribed over the CBS radio network.
And yes, somebody did hire Marie Wilson. Marie Wilson worked with the Fort Worth chapter of the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis at the rate of 50,000 dimes for the day. Now, of course, that's, what was it, $5,000. The article that we got from the Fort Worth Telegram said one of the highest paid and probably one of the best proportioned secretaries in the nation will be on duty in Fort Worth Thursday. Blonde and beautiful Marie Wilson, zany star of the My Friend Irma radio show, will draw down $5,000 for the 8-hour stretch, but she won't keep the money. It will go into the coffers of the National March of Dimes Fund to join the fight against infantile paralysis. There's also a good possibility that Irma will join the Mother's March of Polio campaign Thursday night. Mrs. Walter W. Harris said that she would seek the star's services in the Porch Light solicitation. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Fort Worth named Sunday night as winner of a nationwide contest for Marie's pencil-pushing talents. The slow-speaking, word-mangling blonde will work as secretary to the local chapter. And S. Scott Teal, campaign director, said upon hearing the announcement, "I think it's a wonderful gesture on the part of Miss Wilson. I sincerely hope that her appearance here will swell our contributions." Marie on the radio program thought it was a good idea, quoting, "I always knew my brain was worth money." But her friend Jane took a different view. "I always felt that someday there would be a price on that head." And the announcer issued a warning, "Watch out, Fort Worth. My Friend Irma is heading your way." Irma speculated on her ability to talk in Texas. "I'm not sure if I can learn to speak the language in just one day. As long as they talk money, who cares?" So, yes, they did raise $5,000 for the March of Dimes. Thanks to the Coca-Cola Company of Fort Worth, Texas. So there we go. All right, now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we're going to go back 73 years, January 6, 1952, and an episode of the Jack Benny program.
Remember how relieved you were when you heard there was at last a vaccine to stamp out polio? Remember the early doubts and fears that it hadn't really been perfected? Those days are behind us. Areas where the Salk vaccine has been taken by substantial numbers of children and adults under 40 have shown remarkable results. But studies made last year show that a most susceptible group have been neglecting themselves. Almost 41 million adults under 40 years of age have not taken as much as one polio shot. Do you doubt that this is important? If so, please note carefully that after 2 years of rewarding statistics, in 1958, the incidence of polio started to climb again. The vaccine won't work on people who don't take it. At least 3 shots, spaced as your doctor or clinic recommends, are vital for maximum protection from polio. The CBS Radio Network and its affiliated stations join the United States Department of Health in urging, get your polio shots. Get them starting now.
All right, now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, let's go back and see what's going on with Jack Benny. This episode of the program from 73 years ago, January 6th, 1952. And we're going to keep you in suspense. We are.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
Be happy, go lucky, be happy, get better taste. Be happy, go lucky, get better taste today.
Lucky's taste better. So mild, so smooth, so firm and fresh, with better taste in every puff. Yes, Lucky's taste better. For Lucky's fine, mild, good-tasting tobacco goes into the cigarette proved the best made of all 5 principal brands. Let me repeat that. Proved the best made of all 5 principal brands. That's not an empty claim. That's a fact, verified by leading laboratory consultants. For example, Foster D. Snell of New York City, who report, in our opinion, the properties measured are all important factors affecting the taste of cigarette smoke. We conclude that Lucky Strike is the best made of the 5 major brands. And don't forget, LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, mild, good-tasting tobacco. There's no substitute for fine tobacco. And don't let anybody tell you different. So remember the facts. Enjoy fine, mild, good-tasting tobacco in the cigarette that tastes better. Lucky Strike. When you buy cigarettes, remember, Lucky's taste better.
Be happy, go lucky strike today.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, the Sportsman Quartet, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, in the Rose Bowl game on New Year's Day, Illinois scalped the Stanford Indians. So now we bring you a man who could use one of those scalps, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, you can stop vibrating because that was the worst toupee joke I ever heard. Not only that, but it was in very bad taste.
Bad taste?
Yes, I don't mind for myself, but it so happens that the Stanford coach, Chuck Taylor, really wears a toupee.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. I talked to Chuck Taylor right before the game. He's 31 years old, and he definitely has his own hair.
That was before the game. But when Illinois scored their first touchdown, his hair started to go. By the end of the third period, it was piling up on the ground, and all through that fourth quarter, it just laid there and turned gray. But, Don, that was really some game, wasn't it?
It certainly was. And, Jack, I heard you were sitting right on the 50-yard line. How'd you get such a good seat?
Well, Don, it wasn't easy. You see, even though I've lived in California for the past 15 years, I was born in Waukegan. So in order to get tickets, I called Governor Stevenson of Illinois.
Oh, and he got you the tickets?
Well, no. You see, he couldn't do anything for me personally, so he called Governor Warren of California.
Well, it was nice of Governor Warren to give you the tickets.
Well, he couldn't do anything for me either, so he called Mr. McMillan, the city manager of Pasadena, who got in touch with Nancy Thorne, the queen of the Tournament of Roses.
Oh, the queen got you the tickets.
Tickets? Well, not exactly.
Well, then how'd you get in?
I was the third princess on her right. I not only saw the game, but tonight I've got a date with the Stanford Center. You know, the way he raved over my blue eyes, I didn't have the heart to tell him. Don, who were you rooting for at the game?
Well, Jack, I didn't want to show any partiality, so I got a seat on the Stanford side and a seat on the Illinois side.
Don, how could you possibly sit on both sides of the... Oh, of course. And, Don, weren't you disappointed when you weren't picked as the winning float?
I would have won, but I was sabotaged.
Oh, yes. Well, better luck next year, you know.
Hiya, Donzie.
Well, hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil. Don and I were just discussing the Rose Bowl game. Were you there?
No, not this year.
Well, you must have watched it on television.
I started to, Jackson, but I turned it off.
Phil, how could you turn it off? It was a wonderful game.
I know, but I just couldn't take it.
What do you mean?
Look, Jackson, it's New Year's Day. I'm laying there with my eyes bloodshot, an ice bag on my head, the room spinning, and some character keeps yelling, "Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp."
Phil.
If I'd have had anything sharp, I'd have cut my throat.
All right, Phil. You've celebrated, you had your fun. Now it's time to work. The least you could have done is to see that all your boys showed up.
What are you talking about? The band's here.
Where's Remley, Sammy, and Bagby? Your hoodlum section is missing.
Hoodlum section? Now, hold it, Jackson. I don't think it's very nice the way you go on week after week insulting those three boys. They may not be college graduates, but they come from good families. They're sensitive, refined, and perfect gentlemen. And it's your fault that they're not here today.
My fault?
Yeah, if you'd have paid me more money, I could have bailed them out.
Phil, they're in jail? What for?
Crossing the street in the middle of the block.
Now, wait a minute, Phil. They can give you a ticket, but they can't put you in jail for walking across the street.
On their hands and knees?
Oh, well, that's different. All right, Phil, I'll give you the money. Call up and get the boys out.
Okay, thanks. Hand me that phone.
Imagine crossing on their hands and knees.
Hello? Hello, is this the Lincoln Heights jail?
Well, Phil Harris, how are you?
Oh, fine, Captain, fine. Look, I called up about 3 of my boys. They're on the county again.
Which one?
The 3 with the tire marks on their backs.
Oh, those. I already released them.
Well, what about the bail?
I charged it to your account.
Oh, good. I thought I was overdrawn.
By the way, Phil. Hey, Phil, would you send someone down to pick up their belongings?
Their belongings?
Yeah, when we arrested them, one of them was carrying a piano.
I know it. One bottle opener, and they gotta nail it to the Steinway. I'll see you later, Captain.
All right, so long, Phil.
Hey, it's all set, Jackson. They'll be back next week, and I just hope that you'll treat them a little nicer.
Oh, I will, Phil, I will. Who knows, maybe the... Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack.
Well, you're here. Now, where's Dennis?
I don't know. He hasn't come in yet.
Well, how can we go on with the show if the cast doesn't get here on time?
Oh, Jack, don't be mad at Dennis. I happen to know something that you don't know.
Well, don't tell me. Let me guess. It's about Dennis, huh? I know. He's running for president.
Besides that.
What?
Jack, this is something you won't believe.
All right, what is it?
Well, all of a sudden, Dennis got a big crush on me.
Dennis has a crush on you?
Yeah. Ever since last week when I danced with him at Charlie Foy's nightclub, he's been sending me notes and little gifts.
Dennis has been sending you gifts? What did he give you?
Oh, a lot of things. Yeah. His Boy Scout knife, a bag of marbles, 3 bottle caps, a ball of tinfoil, a fish hook, and a dead frog.
Mary, you mean Dennis gave you all those... Mary, what's that you're wearing on your leg?
His bicycle clip. We're engaged.
Well, isn't that cute? So Dennis thinks he's in love with you, huh?
Yes, and Jack, do me a favor, will you? When he comes in, don't kid him, because he's so serious about... Oh, shh! Here he comes down.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Don.
Hi, kid.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Dennis. Dennis, I said hello.
Mary, don't make it so obvious.
Obvious. All I said was hello.
I know, but look at how you're trembling.
Dennis, you're imagining things. She's not trembling.
What are you trying to do, break us up?
No, I'm not trying to break you up.
Hey, Mary, come here a minute, will you? I want to look at you.
Well, all right, Dennis.
Gee. Gosh.
Well, what is it, Dennis?
To think that you'll soon be my wife and Babe will be my brother-in-law.
That's nowheres on this page. It's better than what we had written there. I know that. Now, look, Dennis, I don't want to break up your romance, but for 2 weeks now, I've been anxious to see Death of a Salesman. So do you mind if I ask your fiancée, Miss Livingston, to go with me tonight?
Hey, you're wasting your time, kid.
Oh, I am, eh? What about, Mary? Would you like to see Death of a Salesman?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jack, but I already saw it.
With whom?
Dennis.
Oh.
I'll go with you, Mr. Benny.
But you saw it with Mary.
Who looked at the pictures?
Dennis, do me a favor. Will you go ahead and sing your song?
Oh, okay.
Charmaine, sung by Dennis Dayan. Very good, Dennis.
Thanks.
And now, ladies and gentlemen...
Oh, Mr. Benny, I want to congratulate you.
Congratulate me?
Yes, Radio and Television Daily took a poll and you were voted Radio's Man of the Year.
Well, thank you, Dennis.
Don't thank me. I voted for somebody else.
All right, now behave yourself. And now, ladies and gentlemen... For our feature attraction tonight, we're going to present a sketch based on one of radio's most popular dramatic shows, Suspense. Now, in this sketch, I will play the part of... Oh, darn it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
Rochester, I was just starting my sketch. What do you want?
I thought you might like to know. A friend of yours from Waukegan just phoned from the Union Station.
A friend of mine?
His name is Cliff Gordon.
Cliff Gordon? Why, Rochester, he's one of my best friends. We grew up together.
He said you and he were born in the same hospital on the very same day.
That's right, Rochester. How did he sound?
Well,
what?
Either you're over 39 or we had a very bad connection.
Never mind. Anyway, that's Cliff for you. The minute he gets in, he calls me. I hope you told him he can stay in the guest room.
Yeah, but he said he was going to the Biltmore.
But, Rochester, we have the extra room. Why doesn't he stay with us?
I guess it was my fault, boss.
What do you mean, your fault?
At first, I didn't know he was your friend. I quoted him tourist rates.
Oh, yes. Mike DeSalle set them for us. Well, Rochester, when did Mr. Gordon say he was coming over to visit me?
Tonight, about 8 o'clock.
Oh, darn it, and I wanted to see Death of a Salesman. Oh, well, I can see it some other time. Goodbye, Rochester.
Goodbye. Oh, say, boss.
Now what?
They just brought back your Maxwell.
Good, but why did it take so long?
Well, it took 4 days to take off the roses and 2 days to drive it back from Pasadena.
All that trouble and no prizes. Well, so long, Rochester.
Goodbye.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I started to say, for our feature attraction tonight, we're going to present our version of one of radio's most popular shows, Suspense. Set the scene, Don.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we will usher in the 1952 season by presenting a sketch fraught with drama and excitement, and well calculated to keep you in suspense.
My name is Aristotle Fink. It's an ordinary name. And I'm an ordinary guy. Until last week, I was a teller at the California Bank in Glendale. But now, I'm a teller at the California Bank in Beverly Hills. No, I wasn't promoted. The rain just changed our location. I live in a small cottage with my wife, Mary, and our 21 children. The reason I had 21 children is because at one time I hated my wife and wanted to lose her in the crowd. But since then, we were serenely happy until that fateful day that changed my humdrum life into a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. That eventful morning started like any other. I had just finished my breakfast and turned to my wife and said, "It was a wonderful breakfast, dear, but I must leave you now and go to work."
I'll be waiting for you, darling.
I can't wait to return. I'll be counting the hours.
I'll be counting the children.
Good. That reminds me, you better wake Philip up. I don't want him to be late for school.
Oh, here he is now. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, Mother. Good morning, Dad.
Something always happened to me when he called me Dad. But I take a little bicarbonate and feel better. I had a few minutes before going to work, so I decided to have a fatherly talk with Philip. Philip, have you given any thought to the future?
Yes, I have, Dad.
Good. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to lead an orchestra.
Oh, so you want to be a musician?
No, I just want to lead an orchestra.
But, Philip, leading an orchestra would be a waste of your talents. You are a great student. You are an educated fellow. You are a Phi Beta Kappa.
I are?
That's right, son, you am. And you're destined for greater things than...
Here's your school books and your lunch, Philip.
Thank you, Mother. Did you prepare something nice for lunch?
Yes, 2 chicken sandwiches, an apple, a banana, and your thermos bottle is filled with milk.
Milk?
Yes, milk. This is a sketch. Now hurry or you'll be late for school.
Goodbye, Mother. Goodbye, Dad. And I do mean Dad.
All of my children left for school, and it was such a beautiful day that I decided to walk to the bank. In fact, as I walked along, with the sun shining in my face, my heart was so filled with joy, I started to sing. I wish I was a swinging, clinging vine. I wish I was a swinging, clinging vine. If I was a swinging, clinging vine, I'd only cling to the gal of mine. I wish I was a swinging, clinging vine.
Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, tell you what I'd like to be. Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, here is what I dream I'd like to be.
I wish I was a good old Lucky Strike. I wish I was a good old Lucky Strike. If I's a good old Lucky Strike, I'd be the cigarette you like. I wish I was a good old Lucky Strike.
Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, tell you what I'd like to be. Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, a Lucky Strike is what I'd like to be.
I wish I was an LSMFT. I wish I was an LSMFT. If I's an LSMFT, I'd be so very proud of me. I wish I was an FT.
Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, tell you what I'd like to be. Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, an LSMFT I'd like to be.
I wish I had a match somewhere on me. I wish I had a match somewhere on me. 'Cause if I's an LSMFT, I take that match and light up me. I wish I had a better voice on me.
Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, if I was an LSMFT. Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, everyone could take a puff on me.
I wish I had 100 million friends. I wish I had 100 million friends. If I had 100 million friends, I'd show them I had no loose ends. I wish I had 100 million friends.
Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, tell you what I'd like to be. Hi-ho, fiddly-dee, an LSMFT I'd like to be. Like to be, like to be, like to be, like to be.
I arrived at the bank, and this day was like all the others, with one exception. A man came to my window. A man who was destined to change my life story from a peaceful one to a tale well calculated to keep you in...
I didn't say it yet.
to keep you in suspense.
Watch it, fellas.
This man came up to my window and thrust a bill at me. It was a genuine $10,000 bill. I looked at him for a moment, then looked back at his $10,000 bill when he said,
I'd like to change this.
But this is a $10,000 bill.
Yeah, I know. It's the smallest I got.
Okay, I'll change it. Would you like to change in $1,000 bills, hundreds, 50s, 20s, 10s, or 5s?
I want it in pennies.
You want $10,000 in pennies? Why?
I got 500 piggy banks for Christmas.
I complied with his request, also sorry that I gave him that joke. I gave him $10,000 worth of pennies, which he put in his pockets. And my eyes followed him as he walked out, leaving his pants behind. I then stared at the bill and realized that I, Aristotle Fink, held this treasure in my hand. Suddenly, a harmless thought struck me. My family had never seen a $10,000 bill, and it wouldn't hurt anyone if I took it home and showed it to them. As I entered my house, my wife was standing in the hall.
Hello, darling.
Oh, quick, come in. Shut the door.
All right, darling. Now, I want to show...
Don't talk. Help me close the windows.
They're closed now. Darling...
Wait. Help me open the air wick.
Air wick? What's the matter?
The shrimp boats are coming.
That's not important now. Darling, I have a surprise for you.
For me too, Dad?
Yes, for you too, Philip.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Philip. Must you always go around with your pants dragging?
I can't help it, Mother. I don't have a belt or anything to keep them up with.
Why, Philip, to hear you talk, a person would think I don't make enough money to keep you in suspenders. I said suspenders! Stupid hoodlums! section?
What's the surprise, dear?
Something I want you all to see. Philip is here. Call the rest of the children.
Okay. Sam, Peggy, Hilda, Milton, George, Ada Marie, Ellen, John, Hillard, Jeanette, Bonnie, Jean, Stephen, Terry, Harriet, Albert, Julius, Crenshaw, Pico, and Sepulveda.
All of our children got along well, except Pico and Sepulveda. They kept crossing each other. Suddenly the door opened, and the children ran in. When I was a young man, I never dreamed that I, Aristotle Fink, would ever have so many children.
The children all here, darling. Now tell them about your surprise.
Okay. Now listen, you little Finks. I want to show you this. It's a $10,000 bill. Here, take it. Philip, why aren't you looking at the $10,000 bill?
That don't mean nothing to me. I've seen them before.
You have?
Yeah, there's a little blonde in my class named Alice who's loaded with it.
All right, children, give me back the bill. Children. Children! Somewhere on the tour through the hands of my children, the $10,000 bill disappeared. I looked for the money all that night but couldn't find it. And the following morning when I went to work, the president of the bank sent for me. I walked into the office of this very rich man. He was sitting at his desk playing tiddlywinks with silver tiddlies. I looked at him timidly and said, "You sent for me, sir?"
Yes. Do you know that $10,000 is missing from your accounts?
Yes, sir.
Did you take it?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that was nice?
No, sir.
Well, watch it next time.
But I didn't steal it, sir. I only took it home to show it to my wife and kids.
I know you didn't mean to steal it, but it's out of my hands now. There's a police inspector outside. Miss Jones, send the inspector in.
Suddenly the door opened, and the policeman walked in carrying a pair of handcuffs. He walked over to us and said,
"Okay, put these on, fatso."
Not me. He's the guilty one.
Oh, are you a Fink?
Yes.
What's your name?
You just said it, a Fink.
Well, what do you think, Fink? You're going to the clink?
Oh, no, I'm not. Come one step nearer, and I'll stab you.
Look out, he's got a knife.
Don't be a fool. Put down that knife.
Oh, yeah? Take that.
Get away from me. Don't come near me with that knife. I haven't done anything.
Oh, yes, you have. And I'm going to stab you, too. Take that. I didn't shoot them, folks. I stabbed them. But the sound man is still sore at me on account of the lousy Christmas present I gave him. And that is my story. Now I'm in my cell in the state prison awaiting my execution tomorrow night. But in the cell next to me is a traveling man named Frederick, who was convicted of killing his wife by hitting her over the head with his sample case. In a few hours, Frederick walks his last mile to the electric chair. Oh, it's small consolation. But before I go, I'll finally get to see Frederick march in Death of a Salesman. A picture well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Jack, we'll be back in just a moment, but first...
Be happy, go lucky, get better taste today.
Lucky's taste better. Friends, LSMFT, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, mild, good-tasting tobacco. There's no substitute for fine tobacco, and don't let anybody tell you different.
Yes, Lucky's taste better. For Lucky's fine, mild, good-tasting tobacco goes into the cigarette proved the best made of all 5 principal brands. Let me repeat that. Proved the best made of all 5 principal brands. That's not an empty claim. That's a fact, verified by leading laboratory consultants. For example, Froling and Robertson of Richmond, Virginia, who report,
It is our conclusion that Lucky Strike is the best made of these 5 major brands.
Friends, to get the facts that you as a smoker will want to know about cigarette quality, to learn the plain, simple truth about the important factors that affect the taste of a cigarette, send for your free copy of a new booklet, What Makes Lucky Strike Taste Better. Just drop a card to Lucky Strike, Post Office Box 99, New York 46, New York. That's Lucky Strike, Post Office Box 99, New York 46, New York.
Be happy, go lucky strike today.
Good night, folks.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Well, they ran that one right up to the break, didn't they? January 7th, 1952. Jack Benny here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Drama tomorrow with the Screen Guild Players presentation of The Lost Weekend starring Ray Milland. Escape, the second-class passenger. Also Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer in an episode of Counter Spy and the Case of the Kleptomaniac Clues. An episode of Suspense from 1952, a story of the San Francisco Tong Wars called The Case Against Lou Doc, and another episode of The Mechanical Man and Superman. Coming up next, a friend of Jack Benny's, Fred Allen.
Now, during the holiday season, with more cars than usual on the road and adverse weather conditions, think a minute. If a child should dash across an intersection, if a tire should blow out, could you stop in time to save a life? As always during a holiday season, you must be more alert than ever in following simple safety rules. Keep your windshield clear of fog and snow. Be certain your headlights and wipers are working properly. In wet weather, never slam on your brakes. It's a sure way to put your car into a skid. And always follow other cars at a safe distance. Don't be one of those unfortunates who will lose his life in a traffic accident this Yuletide. Be careful, friends. Live to have a safe and happy Christmas.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues as we go back 79 years for an episode of the Fred Allen program from January 6, 1946. And we have a quiz show appearance by Fred Allen on his own show. You'll figure it out in a moment.
It isn't a friend of Gladys Sabisco's, kiddies.
The makers of Bluebonnet Margarine and Tenderleaf Tea present The Fred Allen Show with Fred's guests, Phil Baker, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius as Mrs. Nussbaum, Alan Reed as Falstaff Openshaw, the Tenderleaf Workshop Players, the DeMarco Sisters, and Al Goodman and his orchestra. And if you're wondering who plays Senator Claghorn, my name is Kenny Delmar. This week, ladies and gentlemen, Bing Crosby's sponsor started suit to get Bing to go back on the air. Tonight, we bring you a man whose sponsor is thinking of starting suit to get him off the air, and here he is, Fred Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And Kenny, I was reading about that Bing Crosby suit. You know, I don't really think that Bing wants to work. I hear he's moving to Stamford. Well, we're off to a nice dull start. Anything that happens from now on will be a highlight.
Well, what about your sponsor, Fred?
Well, our sponsor I believe he thinks we're a little behind the times with our show, Kenny.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, all of the other radio programs don't bother with entertainment anymore. They're just giving things away. Jack Benny's giving away $10,000, Bob Hope's giving away Jeeps, and Red Skelton is giving away automobiles.
Yeah, well, don't you think you should give something away, Fred?
I was just going to announce it, Kenny. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Starting next week, to every person who wins an automobile on Red Skelton's program, I will give a road map. A I'll even open it if the party's too weak. I'll even open the road map.
Well, that ought to cause plenty of talk.
Yes. And it's the kind of talk I don't want to be around to hear, Kenny. I have enough trouble the way things are. Well, Portland. Kenny and I were just talking about radio programs giving things away.
Oh, radio is wonderful.
Well, how do you mean?
My uncle was on a program called Blind Date.
Oh, what happened?
His number was called, and he had to take out a chorus girl.
I see.
Next day, they both went on a program called People Are Funny, and he proposed to her.
He did, huh?
Then they went on a program called Honeymoon in New York and got married over 150 stations.
150 stations. Good.
Then they went on Truth or Consequences and won enough furniture for their house.
They lived happily ever after?
No, they went on Battle of the Sexes and had a big fight.
Well, is the marriage off?
Well, we won't know until tomorrow.
Well, what's tomorrow?
They're on Mr. Anthony's program.
They have completed their happy kilocycle, in other words. But you know, you can almost get anything in radio today.
But sometimes things go wrong.
Well, how do you mean?
Mama wrote a limerick for the National Barn Dance Contest.
And something went wrong?
Instead of the first prize of 100 bottles of Alka-Seltzer,
Yeah?
they sent her 2 hillbillies.
2 hillbillies. Well, how did your mother, with her broken lorgnette, know that... Mother, with that limp lorgnette that hangs down so she can't look through it, how did she know the difference?
Well, she put one of the hillbillies in water.
And?
He didn't fizz.
Oh, well, that would give it away. Probably made the water good and dirty, though. But speaking of fizzes, reminds me, we better start thinking of getting along to see those old familiar fizzes down in Allen's Alley.
What is your question for tonight?
Well, Portland, this week the New York movie critics made their annual awards for the outstanding films and performances of 1945. And so this evening our question is, if you are a movie fan, what pictures and performances impressed you most during the past year?
Shall we go?
As the druggist said when he had a headache, I think I'll take a powder. Well, Portland, here we are back in Allen's Alley. Say, the senator's home tonight. His hound dog is curled up there under the porch. See it?
Somebody now.
Yes, I know.
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn.
I know. You're from Dixie.
When I eat crackers in bed, I only eat Georgia crackers.
Now, wait a minute.
When I leave New York, I always take the South Ferry.
Now, wait a look.
Way down upon the Swanee River.
Look, you're a little...
I'm singing Swanee song.
Well, I know what you're singing.
Show some reverence, son. Kneel down and uncover.
Now, wait a
Stop eating your gum, son.
Now, just let me
talk for a change. Change, that is.
You let me get a word in.
Keep chattering, son.
I don't even get a chance.
Your tongue is going like a cow's tail in fly time.
Now, wait a minute. While you're taking in a little wind, Senator, do you mind if I intersperse something in here? What was Washington's reaction to the choice of the most popular movie stars?
We took our own poll in Congress.
You did?
Everybody was talking all at once. Even Senator Brooks was babbling. Babbling Brooks, that's a joke.
I know it.
Galveston Guffaw.
I don't care.
There's a Savannah Socceroo.
Look, I don't care.
I crack wires and you look dumb.
I'm looking
Hold up, son. You're subnormal. Sub, that is.
Now, wait a minute. Be careful how low you go, even in water, Senator. Now, you watch that sub stuff. Now, look, about these Hollywood stars. Are you a movie fan?
I quit going to movies, son.
Well, why?
Last picture I saw made my down yonder blood boil.
Your down yonder blood was boiling, eh? Well, what happened?
At the end of the picture, Ann Southern married Cary Grant.
But why?
I couldn't stand to see another Grant taking anything Southern.
So long, Senator. So long, Senator. Well, goodbye, Senator. So long, Senator. Well, the senator must have just finished dinner. I smelled a little hog jowl on his breath. Oh, well, I wonder, let's get along down the alley. I wonder what Titus Moody has on his mind tonight.
Howdy, Bob.
Mr. Moody, you look a little weary tonight.
Yeah, I've had tough sledding all week.
Well, why should you have tough sledding?
No snow.
Oh, well. Tell me, Mr. Moody, how do you feel about these movie awards?
Boris Karloff should have won.
You think that he's the best actor?
No, tain't his acting.
Well, what makes you such an ardent Karloff fan?
Well, I'll tell you. I got a big wart on my Adam's apple.
Oh, a wart, eh?
Yeah, it's right here under my collar button.
I see it there.
When I put on my collar, the collar button presses against the wart.
Yeah?
The wart presses against my Adam's apple.
Uh-huh.
I'm in agonizing pain.
Oh, what?
The only pleasure I've had for 10 years, I owe Boris Karloff.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, when I go into theater, my collar button is pressing against the wart.
Yeah?
The wart's pressing against my Adam's apple.
Uh-huh.
I'm in agonizing pain.
Yes?
Then Boris Karloff comes on the screen.
Yes?
My flesh starts to creep.
Yes?
The wart creeps up over my collar.
Yes?
I can't explain the feeling. It's utopia.
When the picture is over...
Then the wart creeps back down. The collar button starts pressing. I'm in agonizing pain again.
Well, as far as you and your wart are concerned, outside of Boris Karloff...
All them other Hollywood actors is just a pain in the neck. So long, Bud. So long.
Well, when Boris Karloff is in town, Mr. Moody's wart is going places. Now, let's see what happens next door here.
No.
Oh, Mrs. Nussbaum.
You were expecting maybe Olivia de Havilland?
Tell me, Mrs. Nussbaum, are you a movie fan?
Not me, my husband, Pierre.
Oh, Pierre likes pictures, huh?
Every day you're seeing movies, always in Technicolor.
Oh, Technicolor, huh?
To Pierre, every picture is looking Technicolor.
Well, how come?
His eyes are bloodshot.
But don't seeing so many movies bother Pierre?
Always he is coming home with different personalities.
Well, how do you mean?
Pierre is seeing a picture with Ronald Coleman.
Yeah?
He is making with an English accent.
Oh, really?
He is opening the door and saying, "Was machst du, old crumpet?"
Was machst du, old crumpet, huh?
Also, sei gesund and cheerio.
Hey, certainly cultured, what?
He is seeing in a picture Bingle and Crosby.
Yes?
Around the house, Pierre is singing,
I see.
Then Pierre is seeing Bob Hope.
Yes?
He is making with rice crackles.
Well, say, with such a versatile husband, you must be very happy.
I am getting a divorce.
Well, why?
Last week, Pierre is seeing in a picture Tarzan.
So?
He is refusing to leave home.
You mean you can't get him into the house?
I can't get him down from the tree.
Well, here we are at the last shack in Allen's Alley. I wonder what a knock will bring here.
Sound the trumpets, round me rally, Falstaff's back in Allen's Alley.
Falstaff, open, sir. Well, welcome return, Falstaff. Happy homecoming.
Thank you, all right.
Where have you been?
I have been enjoying a sabbatical on the Bowery.
Oh, you've been coining new dactyls?
Oh, indubitably.
Really?
Have you heard, said the bumblebee to the little flea, don't touch that stuff, it's DDT?
No.
Or, as the waiter said when he brought the horseradish, I hope that covers your beef?
No.
How about this? My mother is lonesome when she goes to a fire. LaGuardia isn't there, and neither is O'Dwyer.
Now, wait a minute. Now, wait. That is, you've overdone it finally, Falstaff. Tonight, we are simply discussing the Critics' Awards for the best films of 1945.
Precisely why I greyhounded in. I have contrived an epic.
A poem about the movie awards? What is it called?
The Forgotten Award.
And how does it go?
Each year, the critics give awards to pictures and to actors. The direction and performances they term deciding factors. Paramount is cited, an award to Movie Tone, a plaque to Ingrid Bergman. Even Lassie gets a bone. I hail the movie industry, but I also must remind it that an award should be awarded to the man who is behind it. This guy makes Hollywood possible. He's not director, star, or picket. He's just the average man who digs down and buys a ticket.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul Stamp. Thank you. And from the Ramsey Grimes of Bard Openshaw, we turn to the refreshing refrains of the Five DeMarco sisters, accompanied by Maestro Al Goodman and his United Nations Ensemble. The DeMarco sing The Moment I Met You.
Got the funniest feeling, didn't know what to do. See, my heart began reeling the moment I met you. Didn't know about kissing till I got it from you. Then I found I was missing the moment I met you. I looked around to touch the ground and found an old angel stopped where she had dropped right from out of the sky. Every night of Thanksgiving, for a feeling that's new, I at last began living the moment I met you. I looked around to touch the ground, down upon an old line, and angel stopped where she had dropped right from out of the sky, right from out of the sky. I sang hallelujah when I suddenly knew I was running right to ya. The moment I met you, the moment I met you, the very moment, the moment I met you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, something for the book.
Yes, here's one for the book about delicious food that's everybody's topic. Here's a swell dish for a cold winter day. Griddle cakes, golden brown piping hot griddle cakes with some crackling sausages to the side. And lots of Bluebonnet on top. Yes, I said Bluebonnet, the margarine that gives you flavor, nutrition, economy. All three. Bluebonnet has a delicious flavor, fresh, delicate, country sweet, and it keeps its delicate, delightful flavor even when half melted on piping hot foods. Bluebonnet margarine is packed with nutrition, too. Rich in food energy, rich in vitamin A. As for economy, Bluebonnet saves you real money. It costs so little you can spread it on twice as thick, and boy, you'll want to. And don't forget, Bluebonnet margarine is a product of the makers of Fleischmann's yeast. That fact alone tells you it must be good. Ask your grocer for Bluebonnet tomorrow. Remember the letters FNE for flavor, nutrition, economy. Bluebonnet margarine gives all three: flavor, nutrition, economy.
Clouds drifting. That was I Am Always Chasing Rainbows, another in the Maestro Al Goodman series of remnant rhapsodies. Say, Portland,
Yes?
has that lawyer called me yet?
Lawyer? Are you in trouble?
Am I in trouble? All week I've been in more hot water than a slice of lemon in a Russian tea room. I am out on bail right now.
Gosh, what happened?
Well, you've read that line in some other program we've had. That's very reminiscent. Well, Portland, you want to know what happened? The whole thing started last Sunday night after the broadcast. You know, I generally go over to the Hamburger Hovel on 8th Avenue. For a nickel over there, they serve a hamburger as big as a catcher's mitt. Even a buckle in the back of the hamburger. They put the piccalilli on with a trowel. Well, I took a cab at Radio City, and we were driving along the street. We had gone a few blocks when the driver said...
You said the Hamburger Hovel, didn't you, Bud?
Yes, driver.
Okay. I'm as busy as a termite in the woodwork. I'm as jumpy as a yo-yo on a string. Boy, can that Sinatra write music.
Say, driver, just a minute, driver. Stop the cab.
Okay. Something wrong, chum?
I just felt in my pocket. My wallet's gone. I must have left it at the studio.
You mean you ain't got no dough?
Well, I haven't any money with me.
This is a buck even. Get it up, Chisler.
Now, well, look, if you'll just take me back to Radio City...
So you can beat it out the other door, huh? I had that pull on me before, chum. Where's that crank handle?
Now, look, driver.
Come on, out of the cab. I'm going to crown you with this crank handle.
Now, wait a minute.
Take this. You rats, you duck.
Now, don't lose your head, driver.
You broke my window.
I broke your window. You broke the window.
Well, if you'd have stood still, I'd have hit you.
Now, look.
$1 on the meter, 7 for the window. That's $8 you owe me.
Now, I'll pay you the money. Don't get excited. Your blood pressure will go up, driver. I'm Fred Allen.
Sure, and I'm Jack Benny. Look, no hair.
Yeah.
Quit stalling, wise guy. Give me $8.
Say, look, driver. Look, across the street there.
It's a radio studio, so what?
Well, that sign. It says tonight, Phil Baker in Take It or Leave It.
So what?
Say, I've got an idea. Now, Phil Baker's program goes on the air in about 5 minutes. I'll go on Take It or Leave It. I'll change my name. Phil Baker won't even know who I am. I'll answer 4 of those easy questions. I'll quit with the $8. You'll have your money. Now, is it a deal?
Okay. But you better win, brother. I got insurance.
Insurance?
This crank handles me insurance. Let's go.
All right. Well, Portland, the cab driver and I got into the radio studio just in time. Luck was with me. My number was called. I was chosen as a contestant. I was sitting on the stage. The cab driver was glaring at me from the front row when I heard the announcer say,
Presenting Take It or Leave It, starring Phil Baker. Yes, Take It or Leave It, the most exciting game you ever played. The game that doubles in interest with every question asked. The game with the giant jackpot. And now we give you the man with the $64 question, our paymaster of ceremonies, and here he is, Phil Baker.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the halls of Montezuma. Boy, there are plenty of people here tonight. I haven't seen such a crowd since the window shade in Betty Grable's dressing room fell down. But I really feel swell. You know, last Sunday night, Secretary Burns was pinch hitting for me, answering some Russian $64 questions. So I went to Florida for a rest. Florida. Folks, there is a state. That's where the sun goes to get away from that California weather. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to go to Florida, though. You go down there, your face is white. You get a great tan. You check out of the hotel, get your bill, and you turn white again. Those prices in Miami. I had a room overlooking a grapefruit for $18 a day. And speaking of grapefruit, here's our first contestant. What is your name, miss?
Shirley S. Gum.
Shirley S. Gum. What does the S stand for?
Spearman.
Where's your home, Shirley?
I live in Brooklyn.
What is your occupation, Shirley?
I work in Bloomingdale's. I'm a laugher.
A laugher at Bloomingdale's?
Yeah, when women come in and ask for nylons, I laugh
You
at
laugh
them.
I've heard of let a smile be your umbrella, but let a laugh be your nylons is a new one on me. Now, Miss Gum, what category have you selected from the board?
Popular music.
Good. Popular music. For $1, what is the name of this popular song? All right, what is the name of that popular song?
Popular? I never heard of it.
It's very popular.
It ain't in Brooklyn.
Now think, what was that song? Chick, chick, chick.
3 chicks in a check?
No.
Chicory chick!
Yeah, I think I got it, Mr. Baker. Is it Chicory Chick?
Did you hear somebody yell that in the audience?
Did somebody yell something? You know, I'm as deep as a haddock.
Yeah.
I was born with 2 cauliflower ears. My mother was in the Golden Globe.
Well, all right, I'm going to give you the $1. Would you like to try it with 2?
Nah, give me the buck.
You're quitting?
Yeah, my boyfriend's a counterfeiter. He just wants a sample.
I see.
So long.
Well, that brings us to our next contestant. And your name, sir?
Prentice Pontoon.
Prentice Pontoon. Did you receive a present before you came up to the microphone?
Yes, sir. I never shop fountain pen.
Right, and it's guaranteed not for years, not for life, but guaranteed forever.
Yes, sir.
You look a little nervous. Would you like a cup of tea?
I thought you served coffee, Mr. Baker.
Not on this program. You'll take tea or a drink of hot bluebonnet margarine.
No, thanks.
You say your name is,
Prentice Pontoon.
Did anyone ever tell you that you looked like Fred Allen?
Yes, I've been beaten up twice by radio listeners.
You've even got bags under your eyes like Allen.
Yes, I know.
What is your occupation, Mr. Pontoon?
I am an oculist in a fish market.
Oculist in a fish market.
When they lay a lot of dead fish in a fish market window,
Yes?
I check on their eyes to make sure the fish are all looking in the same direction.
I see.
If one fish is looking the other way, it throws the whole window off.
Yes. You're just working for the halibut.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I get people on this program with the darndest occupation.
Really?
One guy works in a restaurant on 2nd Avenue. He's a lentil feeler.
A lentil feeler?
Yes. If you order lentil soup, he puts his hand in and feels your lentils. Yeah. He takes out the hard lentils so they won't hurt your gums.
He does messy work,
Yes,
I should say.
That's a joke, sir. Another guy is a booster at the automat. When midgets come into the automat, he boosts them up so that they can see what dishes are in the top compartment.
Well, that's nice work, I should
Another
say.
guy is a perfume advisor in a 5 and 10 cent store.
A perfume advisor?
Yes. When you take the top off a bottle, he tells you if what you smell is the perfume or another customer.
Oh, right. You have some odd characters on your program, Mr. Baker.
Tonight, especially. What would you like to talk about, Mr. Pontoon?
Well, I think...
How about movie stars, world history, music?
World history.
All right, Mr. Pontoon, for $1. Take it easy now.
Yes?
Who is the President of the United States? No coaching, please.
The President. He was on the radio last Thursday instead of Abbott and Costello.
That's the one, That's right. He said to Congress, "You're bad boys." What's the President's name? Think now.
Herman Truman.
Well, that's close enough. Okay, you have $1.
Hey, you're okay, chum.
Quiet, please. No help from the audience. Do you want to try for $2, Mr. Pontoon?
He better.
Well, what do you say?
Well, you heard him. I'll try for $2.
Good. When you see pictures of Napoleon with his hand inside of his coat, what modern cartoon character does he remind you of?
Itchy.
Itchy is correct. Quiet. You're a very intelligent young man.
He better be intelligent.
Quiet. Who is this character in the audience? A friend of yours?
The next 2 questions will decide.
Who is he waving that crank handle at?
Well, he ordered a new car, but so far the crank handle is all he's gotten from General Motors.
Okay, Mr. Pontoon, for $4. What brand of tea was used at the Boston Tea Party?
Tenderleaf tea.
Tenderleaf tea is absolutely correct. Now for $8, Mr. Pontoon. Why did Sitting Bull sit down?
Would you repeat the question, please, Mr. Baker?
For $8, why did Sitting Bull sit down?
He was waiting for the cows to come home.
No. Do you give up?
Well,
You'll be sorry.
His suspenders broke?
No. You don't know, do you?
Frankly, I don't, Mr.
Well,
Baker.
I'm sorry. Sitting Bull sat down because in those days there were so many things he couldn't stand for. See? Sorry, stand by for the giant jackpot.
Yes, sir, Mr. Baker. Well, Portland, after I lost the giant jackpot, too, and the program was over, I sneaked out the side door. The cab driver and the crank handle were waiting for me. I didn't have the money, so I offered him the fountain pen Phil Baker had given me. The cab driver said...
A fountain pen? First you chiseled me out of $8, now you want me to learn how to write, eh? Police!
Now, wait a minute, driver. This pen is worth $20. You'll be making $12. You can sell it to somebody.
You sell it to somebody. All I want is $8.
Okay. The people are coming out of the broadcast now. I'll go around in front of the theater and sell it to someone.
Me and the crank handle will be sitting in the cab waiting. Make it snappy.
Gad, what a predicament. At my age, a sidewalk peddler. Well, the audience is coming out. I'll try this guy here. Hey, buddy.
Yes?
I got a $20 fountain pen. It's yours for $8. Look, under my coat.
Look under my coat.
A badge. You're a detective.
Yeah, I've been looking for you, Black Market Mo.
But, officer...
First it was fake almond bars with stones in them. Now it's hot fountain pens.
But I'm not Black Market Mo. I'm Fred Allen. I just got this fountain pen and take it or leave it. Honest, look. Here's Phil Baker coming out of the theater. Phil can identify me. Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hello, Mr. Baker.
Hello, officer. What's the trouble?
Tell him who I am, Phil. You know me. I'm Fred Allen.
You know this character, Mr. Baker?
Yes, I know him.
Tell him who I am, Phil.
Why, he's Prentice Pontoon.
Phil. I'm Fred Allen on the radio.
You're an oculist in a fish market.
Thanks, Mr. Baker. Come on, you. But, Phil, don't let him take me to court. I'll have to do time.
You bet you will.
But
for selling an ever-sharp pen on the street, You'll go to jail not for years, not for life, but forever. Okay, Black Market Mo, let's go.
And now, Kenny, with a flattering word about the American woman.
All over the world, the American woman is famous for her beauty. Her home is the ideal in other lands, too, and the way she runs it. She is practical about her home, her appearance, her dress, all her shopping. And it's being so practical that makes her choose Tenderleaf T-balls over all others. Yes, Tenderleaf T-balls are better in every way. That's why they're the largest selling T-balls in America. They provide finer tea, rich in fragrance, richer in flavor, made with famous for flavor Tenderleaf brand tea. Their greater convenience is a big help, too. Individual packets of tasteless filter paper, crisp white and appealing, ready any time to drop into your cup for a cup of quick comfort when you need it most. That's all there is to it. Just add boiling water and your quick comfort is ready. Heartwarming, delicious, crystal clear Tenderleaf tea. So for every good reason, ask your grocer for Tenderleaf brand T-balls.
Thank you, Kenny. Thanks, Phil Baker. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, our guest will be the eminent Shakespearean actor and star of Hamlet, Maurice Evans. Thanks a lot for joining us, and good night. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Oh, you gotta love it. 79 years ago, January 6, 1946, Fred Allen here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage at classicradio.stream. Please share our show with your friends. And you can shave it too if you like. But make sure you do it with an ever-sharp razor. Coming up next, A Date with Judy.
Not all careless drivers have accidents, but many such careless drivers cause accidents. A woman driver who drives slowly down Main Street while doing a little window shopping is a menace. So is the man who insists on telling the people in the back seat of his car about his poker game last week. It's no wonder that ordinarily cautious drivers start to lose their tempers and take dangerous chances to pass these careless drivers. When an accident results, the person who caused the accident probably won't even be touched. So the National Safety Council says if you want to window shop, get out and walk. If you are too busy describing one of your sterling feats to pay any attention to traffic, get out and walk. The driver's license you have does not give you the right to endanger the lives of your passengers or other human beings. Driving can be dangerous. Keep your mind on what you're doing, or walk.
Louise Erickson stars in the juvenile comedy A Date with Judy. This goes back 81 years to January 6th, 1944.
Tums, famous quick relief for acid indigestion, presents A Date with Judy.
Hello. Hello, Judy. This is Harold. I just called to tell you that you were the prettiest girl at the party last night.
Why, Harold.
Yeah, and that white sweater you wore is the prettiest one I've ever seen.
Oh, Harold, aren't you sweet? I got it at the Emporium.
Judy, are you doing anything tonight?
Why, not a thing.
Oh, swell. As long as you're free, would you go down to the Emporium and get another sweater, only in pink?
Oh, Harold, how darling of you.
Be sure and get size 44. It's for my mother's birthday.
Well, that's Judy, folks. Judy Foster, the cutest date in town. Your date with her each Tuesday at this same time is arranged by the makers of Tums, famous quick relief for acid indigestion. Well, let's see. Tomorrow is Father Foster's birthday. And that's why we find Judy and her 12-year-old brother Randolph at a downtown department store shopping for a perfect gift.
Judy, you don't think Father would like a baseball bat, do you?
Certainly not. Let's stop fooling Randolph and get Father something he needs.
Well, here's a baseball glove. Don't you think Father would go for that?
Randolph, we only have $2, and we're going to use it to buy Father something he wants.
Well, do you think he'd like a canoe?
Father wouldn't know what to do with a canoe.
I don't know. He does all right with a paddle.
Well, let's get out of this sports department and try to remember Father is not a sport.
They got chemistry sets for $2 in the toy department.
What do you want Father to do, blow himself up?
Hey, where are you going now?
Oh, there's just something over here I want to look at.
Judy, we haven't got much time.
Oh, Randolph, isn't this gorgeous?
I don't think Father would look well in a necklace.
Oh, Randolph, these earrings are divine.
You think Father really needs earrings?
No, but I wish he did.
Well, I'm sure he'd get a lot more wear out of this diamond tiara.
Look, my birthday isn't so far off, so if we bought Father a present for me, then he'd have it to give to me.
Well, in that case, let's get him a chemistry set, a baseball glove, a bicycle, and a Boy Scout knife. It'll relieve Father of birthday worries as far as I'm concerned for 5 years.
Oh, be quiet, Randolph. Come on, let's shop further.
Okie dokie. Hey, Judy, what are you going over to that counter for? Father doesn't wear black nightgowns.
Well, hello, children.
Hi, Mother.
Certainly took long enough on your shopping trip. Did you get your father a birthday present?
Yes, Mother, we did.
We almost got lost in the wilds of the lingerie department, but we managed to hack our way out.
Why, Randolph, how can you say that? We just took sort of a quick swing through that department.
What'd you get, Father? Something useful, I hope.
Oh, yes, Mother, something very useful.
What, Judy?
I don't think we ought to tell you, because we wanted to be a surprise for Father.
Oh, why won't you?
We got him a smoking jacket.
Oh, Randolph, what did you tell for? You know how friendly Mother is with Father.
A smoking jacket? But your father doesn't smoke.
When he has this jacket, he will.
You mean you got a smoking jacket for $2?
Oh, no, Mother. We couldn't get Father anything cheap. This was $18.
$18? Well, where did you get $18?
Oh, we charged it.
You charged it? You bought a present for your father, and you're making him pay for it?
Shouldn't we have done it? Father pays for everything else. He's always...
Oh, that's just it. He pays for everything all year round. For me, for you, and for Randolph. And on his birthday, he has to pay for his own birthday present. Well, I think it's a shame.
I guess we shouldn't have charged it.
Well, you certainly shouldn't have. Why, I was so proud of you having saved up $2 to spend on Father. And now, incidentally, what happened to the $2?
Oh, the $2. Well, Randolph bought himself a baseball glove for 79 cents.
Well, Judy bought herself a snood.
Well, it was just the color of my chartreuse dress. I might never have found as perfect a match again, Mother. I might have looked 1,000 years and not have found another like it. It was an absolute necessity, and it was only 85 cents.
And that still doesn't count up to $2.
Oh. Well, when we finished, we were so exhausted from shopping that we had to buy chocolate sundaes.
Another necessity, Mother.
Yes, I see. Well, Father is not going to pay for his own birthday present.
He isn't?
No, Judy, he isn't. I'm going to call up the department store and cancel that smoking jacket right now.
The baseball glove can't be canceled. We bought it outright.
Now listen to me, children. Your father works hard, and then he has a birthday. And what do his children do? They buy themselves chartreuse snoods and baseball gloves.
Only one baseball glove, Mother.
Oh, poor Father. No one ever thinks of him. All he ever thinks of is us, but we just neglect him.
He is neglected, isn't he?
He certainly is, Judy.
Oh, Mother, I'm terribly sorry. I feel awful. Poor Father. We hardly pay any attention to him.
I could take the baseball glove back.
I know what would be nicer than anything.
What?
If we spend the entire day with Father on his birthday.
Well,
oh, Mother,
Judy.
it's a perfectly lovely idea.
Judy,
Why, of course, that's what we'll do, Randolph. For at least one day in his life, poor Father will know he's loved and appreciated.
Sounds mighty ghoulish to me.
It's perfectly beautiful. Father will have one perfect day. We'll go down to his office and surprise him early in the morning and just make Father happy all day long.
In just a minute, we'll hear what happens to poor Father. And now, back to A Date with Judy. Well, Judy and Randolph have decided to give Father a big break on his birthday. They're going to devote the whole day to him, doing nothing but just making him happy. And now we pick up the kids as they enter his office. Poor Father.
Happy birthday, Father.
Huh?
Happy birthday, Father.
Huh? Oh, thanks. Now would you mind scramming, please?
Father, Randolph and I are going to devote the whole day to you. You'll have to leave the office right now and come with us.
I'm sure that'd be very pleasant here, but I have an 11 o'clock appointment.
But, Father, all the arrangements are made. You simply got to leave.
Look, Judy, a man has come to town. A very important man from whom I expect to get a very big favor. See, I've been using a patent for years, and now he says he has a claim. If he slaps an injunction on me...
But, Father, we're going to spend the whole day making you happy.
I don't want to be happy. I just want my rights to this patent. This is the most important piece of business I ever had.
This man is going to be here at 11 o'clock.
Mr. Quigley, A.Q. Quigley. Stopping at the Carter Hotel just across the street, and he'll be here in a minute. So would you mind getting out of here and leaving me
I
to
don't
my...
know how you can think of business on your birthday.
Judy, when you get to my age, you'll think of business on your birthday. Now, look, you two, run along, will you? If you really want to help me out, beat it.
Oh, Father.
This is what's called a paternal brush-off. Goodbye, Father.
Oh, Randolph, what are we going to do? And after all the wonderful plans we've made.
Well, I guess Father's been neglected so long he likes it.
Randolph, We simply must rescue Father from himself. Come on.
Where are you going now?
To the Carter Hotel. We'll see Mr. Quigley and explain the whole situation. After all, it is Father's birthday, and we must do everything to make him happy.
Yeah, even if it kills him.
Very important, Mr. Quigley, very. The situation is that it's Father's birthday, and we planned this perfect day of happiness for him.
I see.
We know business is your primary interest and all that, but you wouldn't want to interfere with filial affection, would you?
Decidedly not. Personally, I know nothing of filial affection, but I decidedly wouldn't interfere with it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Quigley. I think you're wonderful.
Not at all. I'll call your father now and cancel our appointment.
You will? Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Quigley. You don't know what this day of happiness is going to mean to Father.
Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Quigley. Well, Mr. Quigley, I see, Mr. Quigley, but couldn't you... Well, when could you... I see, Mr. Quigley. Goodbye, Mr. Quigley. Oh, I'm sick. Come in.
Hello, Father.
Hello, Father.
Oh, you two again. What do you want now?
We thought we'd try once again to give you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. This is the most horrible day of my life. Mr. Quigley just phoned me he isn't keeping his appointment, and he doesn't know when he'll give me another.
Is that so, Father?
Yes, that's so. It might be months or years before I have another chance like this. And by that time, I'll be bankrupt.
Father, we planned a whole day of positive happiness for you. So all you have to do is come with us, and you will, won't you?
Look, Judy, Oh, well, why not? What have I got to lose? Lead on.
Oh, Father, I think that's just scrumptious. Now remember, Father, this is absolutely your day. So we want you to do everything you most like to do. What would you like to do most?
Spend the day quietly under a nice shady tree. And so here we are at a nice, quiet amusement park.
Oh, but Father, this was all prearranged. After we're through here, we can do something you'd like to do. But you see, Father, this has been planned beforehand. I wonder where the gang is.
The gang?
Yes, Father.
Your gang?
Yes, Father. Oh, there they are in front of the funhouse. Come on.
Just what I love most, your gang. I don't get enough of it at home every night. I have to have it on my birthday, too.
I see everybody else, but I don't see Mr. Quigley.
Quigley? What's Quigley got to do with it?
Oh, we invited him to come along.
You what?
Why, yes, Father. We thought it would be nice if you had a pal about your own age.
A pal? That tight-faced conservative old... You'll scare the tar out of him.
We just did it for you, to make you happy.
Happy? I was never lower in my whole life. I can't believe it. You asked Quigley to come to this den of horrors?
Oh, Father, he'll enjoy it as much as you will.
That's what I'm afraid of. A.Q. Quigley, good Lord, a staid, blue-nosed old bachelor. Your crowd will kill him.
Oh, is he a bachelor?
Yes, he is. Oh, Judy, why do you do things like this to me?
Oh, well, if he's a bachelor, I'll have to fix him up with a girl.
Huh?
I wonder if Mitzi's his type.
Fix Quigley up with a... Oh, no. No, not that.
Well, you want him to have fun, don't you? Oh, hi, gang. Hi, everybody.
Happy birthday for your father, Judy.
Thank you, Mitzi. Excuse me a minute. Come here, Jojo.
What do you want, Judy?
Well, something's happened that calls for a tremendous sacrifice on your part. Would you mind giving up Mitzi?
Giving up Mitzi?
Uh-huh. Only temporarily. My father's pal is meeting us here as a bachelor, and, since it's Father's birthday, well, you wouldn't want my father's pal not to have a date today, would you?
Well, no, but...
Well, I thought Mitzi would be a good type for Mr. Quigley, So, would you mind terribly if you went staying?
Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe Mitzi isn't willing to sacrifice me.
Mitzi, come on over here a second.
Yeah, Judy?
Mitzi, Jojo's willing to release you for the day because I have another date for you.
You have?
Mm-hmm. He's an older man.
An older man? Oh, how marvelous. I adore men in their 20s.
Well, he's not exactly in his 20s.
Oh, well, suppose he's 19. Even that's okay.
Well, he's, not exactly 19 either.
Oh, gosh, that's getting right back to Jojo.
Oh, he's older than Jojo, and he's very rich. A millionaire.
Oh, boy.
Maybe even a multimillionaire. And I give you my word of honor, he's an older man. Much older.
It's a deal, Judy.
Swell.
Hey, Judy, come on out of your huddle. Mr. Quigley's here.
Oh, Mr. Quigley, let me explain. This is all
it's all fixed, Father. I mean about Mr. Quigley's day.
Oh, Judy, for the love of heaven.
How are you, Miss Foster?
I'm fine. Oh, Mr. Quigley, here's your date. Mr. Quigley, Miss Mitzi Hoffman.
How do you do?
Is this Mr. Quigley?
Why, yes, Mitzi.
I think I'll go back to JoJo.
Mr. Quigley, really, I didn't know this was going to happen.
I like older men, Judy, but, gee, not that old.
Oh, how can you say that? How old are you, Mr. Quigley?
Why, I'm 45.
You see? That's not so old. He's got most of his hair. Turn around, Mr. Quigley.
Judy!
See? In the back it's pretty well covered.
Yeah? That's what I'd call a fringe.
Don't be silly, Mitzi. Why, I bet if Mr. Quigley had on a toupee, he'd be almost stunning.
Can I get you something, AQ? I'm dreadfully sorry. No, nothing at all.
Can I get you something, Father? You look like you need it.
No, Randolph, they wouldn't sell it to you.
Well, okay, Judy, okay, I'll do it for you. I'll be his girlfriend. But just for today, on account it's your father's birthday.
Don't do me any favors.
Oh, gee, thank you, Mitzi.
Come on, Quigley Wiggly. Now, let's see, what would you rather do first? Go into the fun house or into the tunnel of love?
Oh, this is horrible.
Come on, everybody, let's go to the fun house.
Wait a minute, gang. Let him have it.
Nice and loud now, all together.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
AQ, let me explain. This is all a mistake.
Oh, Father, I'm so glad you're enjoying your birthday so much.
I'm enjoying a merry chase, that's what. Every time I open my mouth to talk to Quigley, a rolling barrel upsets him. Or he shoots down a slide. Oh.
But it's fun, isn't it, Father?
Yes, Judy, it's fun. The kind they have in insane asylums.
Oh, Father, watch out. Isn't that a trap door in front of you?
Trapdoors? Nothing of the kind. I know a trapdoor when I see one.
Wrong again.
Judy, what is this hole in the wall called?
Father, how unromantic of you. This is the tunnel of love.
I can hardly see. I wonder where Quigley and that magpie are. I don't know how Quigley's going to hold up under this. Normally, he looks like he was ready to cave in. If he's 45, I'm 16.
Father, he and Mitzi are sitting in the seat in front of us.
Quigley, is that you?
Yes, it is I.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Well, I was just thinking how nice it is, you being near me, where I can get a chance to talk to you. Explain this mess.
Can I tell you something, Mr. Quigley?
You may tell me something, Miss Mitzi.
Well, usually when we get into the tunnel of love, we pitch woo.
Pitch woo?
Yeah, you know, hold hands.
In your day, Mr. Quigley, it was probably called bundling.
That was a little before my day.
You see, Mitzi, he's not so old.
Miss Mitzi, shall I be required to pitch woo?
Well, of course, that's entirely up to you, Mr. Quigley, but you just do what you like.
Father and I won't watch if you don't want us to, will we, Father?
No, not if they don't want us to.
Oh, it's so wonderful to celebrate your birthday with you, Father. I never knew how much fun it was to just give of yourself for somebody else's happiness. I love it. Just giving and giving.
If you really want to give, for the love of heaven, give me a chance to talk to Quigley alone. Mitzi, would you mind changing seats with me? I want to discuss a new type of canning process with Mr. Quigley.
Change seats? Why, that'd be terrible.
It would?
Why, of course. Gosh sakes, what would everybody think if they saw us coming out of the tunnel of love, me sitting with Judy, and Mr. Foster holding hands with Mr. Quigley?
We'll return to Judy in just a moment. And now, back to A Date with Judy. Well, Judy's gang is celebrating Father's birthday. They have Father and an important business associate, Mr. Quigley, out at the amusement park. And are those gentlemen getting the works? Listen.
Judy, What are we going to do now?
Eat our picnic lunch, of course, Father, and then we're going swimming. Oh, isn't it lovely? And to think it's all for your birthday, Father.
All I can say is I wish I was never born.
Now, Father, you know you're having a wonderful time, so laugh.
Now, when I'll have all the rest of my life to laugh, in a maniacal sort of way in a padded cell.
Hey, come and look at Mr. Quigley.
What's wrong with Mr. Quigley?
Well, nothing's wrong with him. He fell off the pier into the water.
Oh, good heavens.
Oh, he's all right now. They pulled him out. Of course, he's kind of puffing like an old dinosaur, but
For 20 years I've been trying to build up a good, respectable business, and in one fell swoop, I'm ruined.
Oh, don't worry, Father. If necessary, I can become a professional baseball player and support the family. I got a glove now.
When we get home tonight, you better plan on wearing it someplace else besides your hand.
Here we are, everybody. Help yourself to lunch from the back.
Oh, Mr. Quigley. Say, Mr. Quigley, are you all right?
Mr. Foster, please don't disturb us. We're having lunchy-wunchy. Aren't we, Quiggly Wiggly?
You're quite so. You're quite so. Yeah, but after Mr. Quigley's fall from the pier...
Perfectly all right. He's a little wet, but after he eats his lunch, he's going to get in a bathing suit anyway, so what's the difference?
He might catch cold.
Oh, that's silly. Come on now, Quiggly Wiggly, open your mouth. That's it. Now I'll just poke in a spoon of ice cream. There we are. How about a pickle?
Oh, for the love of heaven. I'm all right, Foster, but I mean to say...
Please, Mr. Foster, Quig is my date. Now open wide.
Okay, everybody, get into your suits. We're going swimming.
Swimming? Right after lunch? Are you crazy, Judy?
Oh, Father, we're right here on the lake. We might as well use it. Here's a suit for you, Father. Go in the bathhouse and put it on.
I refuse to go swimming.
But, Father, you can't refuse. Not after all the trouble Jojo went to get a suit for you.
Oh.
He had to borrow one from his little brother.
From his little brother?
Mm-hmm. It might be tight on account of Jojo's little brother only being 10 years old, but he's big for his age.
Oh.
Come on, Father. Nearly everyone's ready to go in. There goes Mr. Quigley.
Mr. Quigley? Well, he's got his clothes on.
Well, he isn't going to bother changing. He's all wet anyhow.
Oh. I'll never get that patent. I might as well close up my factory and go to the poorhouse right now.
Last one in's a stinker.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Father's having a perfect day.
Oh, do I have a stomachache.
Come on, Father. We're going to the dance pavilion.
Dance? But you mean to dance?
Oh, you won't have to jitterbug. I'll dance with you any way you want to.
I don't want to do it anyway. I just want to stay here and hold my poor, unhappy stomach.
Oh, everybody's dancing. Just do it the way you used to in the gay 90s, Father.
You might even try trotting out a minuet.
They call that music? Mr. Quigley, AQ.
Are you referring to me, Foster?
Oh, look, AQ, when they're not looking, we can sneak out the side door.
Hey, come on, Quiggly Wiggly, let's dance.
I should try to oblige you, Miss Mitzi.
Can you jitterbug?
Oh, now, Missy, please don't do that to him.
Mr. Foster, I took him on for today, and I'm going to do my duty. I'm going to see that he has a good time. Come on, Quig. Hey, that's it, Quig. That's good.
Am I manipulating properly, Miss Mitzi?
Not bad, Quig. Only don't pump my arm, just jerk it.
Oh, like this?
Hey, now you're getting in the groove. Come on. A worm, a squirm, a rocky tuck.
Oh, here, Melvin, put this hot water bottle on your tummy.
Oh.
Would you like the ice bag on your head?
Everything hurts.
Oh.
My legs from walking around. My head spinning in a million different directions. I've never had such an awful day in my life.
We were only trying to celebrate your birthday.
Yeah, you celebrated it all right. Another hour of that and it would have been my last birthday ever.
Oh, Melvin.
Now listen to me, all of you. This is my last wish. My birthday is hereafter struck out of the calendar completely.
Oh, Father.
Quigley will fight me tooth and nail on that patent after this.
But, Father, all we did was for you.
Oh, don't think I don't appreciate it. You devoted a whole day to me, giving up your time, not doing the things you usually do, spending all that money. Incidentally, who footed the bill?
Mr. Quigley.
What?
He insisted.
Oh, if I ever get up from this deathbed, I'll... Oh, my stomach. Oh, poor Quigley. Who's taking care of him? Who's putting hot water bottles on his stomach? No!
That wasn't your stomach, Father. That was the telephone.
I'll get it. Never mind, I'll answer. Hello? Oh, yes. Melvin, it's Mr. Quigley.
Quigley, what am I going to say to the man? Here, Judy, you hold this ice bag.
Yes.
Randolph, you hold this hot water bottle. Hello.
Hello there, Foster.
Oh, Mr. Quigley, I want to explain about today. I feel just the way you do about it.
Well, you know, I didn't know you had it in you.
Huh?
I thought it was wonderful, too. Just wonderful.
You, huh?
It was a fine day. Thanks very much. Now, Foster, about that patent.
Yeah?
You can have it.
I can what?
It's yours. Well, see you in the morning.
Yeah.
You don't sound so good. You can't take it, can you?
No,
Well, try to get back in shape. I feel great. Goodbye.
Well, I never.
What happened, Melvin?
He gave me the patent.
What?
He enjoyed the day. He actually enjoyed the day.
Well, here's your hot water bottle, Father.
I don't need it. All of a sudden, I feel great. I wonder who that can be.
I'll get it. Hello? Just a minute. It's Mr. Quigley again.
I knew it couldn't be true. I knew it. Give me back my hot water bottle.
I wonder what he wants now.
Let me have that phone.
But he doesn't want to talk to you. He wants to talk to Judy.
To Judy?
I'll take it. Hello, Quigley Wiggly.
Hello, Miss Foster. I just called back to ask you a favor.
Yes, Mr. Quigley?
Could you give me Mitzi Teller's phone number?
Father, he wants Mitzi's telephone number.
What?
He must be crazy about her.
Tell him I said he might as well buy himself a toupee while he's at it.
Mr. Quigley, Father says to tell you that Oh, gee, I hope that's a date.
There ought to be a way you could tell it's a date by the way the phone rings.
I hope it's somebody new. Somebody I could get a violent fever for.
You know, I could make a fortune with an invention like that.
Hello?
Hello, Judy?
Oh, hello, Jojo.
Listen, Judy. I'm pretty upset.
Why, Jojo?
Well, I didn't mind lending Mitzi to Mr. Quigley for one afternoon, but that's as far as I want to go.
Why? What's wrong?
There I was, trying to be a good guy, doing you a favor, and now what happens?
All right, what happens?
Now I can't get a date with Mitzi at all.
You can't?
No, she doesn't want to date anybody but older men.
Oh, gee, that's a shame, Jojo.
I'll say it's a shame, and it's all your fault. When I loaned Mitzi to Mr. Quigley, I lost her forever.
Oh, how gruesome.
Older men all the time. Why, do you know? Last night she went out with a guy 21 years old.
She did? Gee, what does she want to do that for?
Don't ask me. She doesn't like anybody anymore unless he's got one foot in the grave.
It's awfully morbid, isn't it?
Awful. Judy, how do you feel about younger men?
I feel fine about him. Why?
Gee, I wish I could get Mitzi to feel that way.
You do?
Yeah. Judy, I know just the way to do it.
How?
You have a little brother named Randolph, don't you?
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if I loaned Mitzi to Randolph for a couple of hours, do you think she'd get interested in younger men again?
A Date with Judy is written by Aline Leslie and stars Louise Erickson and Dix Davis. Original music was composed and played by Charles Cornell. The program was produced and directed by Helen Mack.
81 years ago, January 6, 1944, A Date with Judy, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, Claudia.
The National Safety Council reports that highway accidents are being reduced and lives being saved. But accidents are still a national problem. The major causes of traffic casualties are speed, drink, and carelessness. Driving too fast for road conditions is one of the most common causes of traffic accidents. Next to speed, driving on the wrong side of the road was reported as the most frequent driver violation of common sense and the safety laws. And 1/4 of the fatal accidents involve a driver or pedestrian who's been drinking. Take the responsibility on yourself and urge safety precautions in your community. Every motorist and every pedestrian should obey traffic signs and signals. Never drive after drinking. Never drive on the wrong side of the road. Watch for warnings on grade crossings. Be alert and careful every moment you're behind the wheel. Remember, the life you save may be your own.
Now an episode of Claudia. This goes back 76 years, January 6, 1949.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia,
based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Well, for heaven's sakes, David, the clock must have stopped.
Well, what clock, darling?
The clock on the Oh, honestly, what clock? How many clocks have we got? It says only 8:30.
Well, 8:30 is what it is.
Now, that is impossible. It must be hours later than 8:30.
Not according to my watch, it isn't.
What does your watch say?
My watch says 8:30.
Feels like at least 10 o'clock.
And that's because you're darning.
I loathe, hate, and detest darning.
I take it you don't like it.
No, not a bit. You know, the trouble with me is, David, I have too many fingers for sewing businesses.
Well, what amazes me is, considering how long it takes you to darn a hole in my sock, just how badly it's done when you finish.
How do you know how long? So today Mama's been doing all the darning around here.
Have you absolutely no ambition to become a wifely kind of wife?
Trying to be measured by my darns? No. Absolutely none. Honestly, David, how do you get such holes in your feet?
By walking on my hands.
That's a wonderful idea. You ought to try it sometime. Gloves are much easier to mend.
The trouble with you is you're spoiled.
I know. I haven't darned a sock since I don't know when. Say, maybe that's one of the reasons I kept Mama around, because you made so many holes in your feet.
I'll have to tell Mama. She'll be flattered.
I wonder what Mama...
Now, there's nothing ruder than not finishing a sentence.
Oh, it wasn't anything, darling. Well... back to my darning.
You were wondering what Mama was doing, weren't you?
Well, nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, not a thing. I was wondering myself.
You were?
Mm-hmm. She's probably having herself a gay old time.
I hope so. Oh, darn this darn. Is it really only 8:35?
Say, I tell you what. When and if you finish that sock up, I'll play a game of checkers.
Is that a carrot I see in front of my nose?
No, it's me.
Hey, listen to the wind. Listen to the rain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the kind of night I wish I were a cat. All curled up in a soft little ball in front of the fire. Dreaming dreams that nobody can guess. Nice night for a cat.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice night for anybody who doesn't have to darn socks.
Oh, you are such a realist, my man. And, David, listen, you don't have to play checkers with me.
I know I don't have to. I want to.
No, you don't. You want to be reading your book.
I've
so
already
go
read
ahead.
my book.
Well, read it more.
I don't want to read more. I've offered you a game of checkers, and that's final.
Darling, you hate playing games.
I don't hate playing games at all.
You always say you do.
Well, that's when I don't want to.
You don't want to tonight, I know.
Haven't I got a right to know what I want?
No, you haven't.
Well, it's nice to know where I stand in this free country.
I think you're being very sweet in offering to play
and
checkers
I am not
with me.
sweet.
But because you think that I ought to be keeping my mind busy. And, well, my mind is busy. And I am not thinking of Mama. I'm perfectly contented sitting here darning and watching you read. So I refuse your invitation to play checkers. That's final.
You're certainly an agreeable little woman.
Aren't I, though?
Mm-hmm. I offer you checkers and you refuse.
Absolutely.
I don't offer you checkers and you complain.
Now, when have I ever complained?
Well, you will someday.
You certainly think a lot of me, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of you.
Is that all?
I think of you a great deal, and as a matter of fact, I even think a great deal of you.
Well, if you do, you're a very easy man.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not as bad a sort as you pretend to be.
Who says I pretend?
I says. And I'm the last word.
Oh.
And this is the last word until you finish up with that darning, or I won't have any socks to wear.
You are very stubborn when you think you're being wise. You know that? David, telephone.
Hey, wait a minute.
No, let me answer.
Now, it may not be Mama.
She hasn't called all day.
Well, she only left yesterday, and we called her last night.
Well, that was yesterday. David, let me answer.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. Answer.
If it is Mama, I'm certainly going to give her a piece of my mind. She has no right to wait till so late before she calls, and I'm going to... Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Reynolds. No, I'm feeling all right. I'm sorry I sound funny. Why, no, it must be the connection, you know, the weather outside and everything.
What does Reynolds want?
What is it? I can't... Oh, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll tell him. He'll be there. Goodbye. Mr. Reynolds, he says he'd like you to bring your blueprints of the schoolhouse to the town hall at 10 tomorrow morning.
You see, it wasn't Mama, I told you.
See, she's a fine one, isn't she?
She certainly is.
Well, I'll just pay her back. I just won't call her.
Why don't you call her if you want to?
No, what for? It's nothing new. Gosh, just listen to that wind.
I'll put another log on the fire.
Oh, darling, we won't stay up that late, will we?
It's still early. It's only...
Seems so late. Must be awful cold out. You know, this is a pretty big house, isn't it, David?
It's just about the right size for us.
Seems so big. All those empty bedrooms upstairs.
Just Mama's room, guest room.
Feels empty upstairs. It's funny what one person can do to a house.
Think how empty Mama's apartment's been all these months.
Well, there's been nobody in it to feel it was empty. Oh, David, I hope she's not lonesome. Hope she's eating right. And
Now, Mama's a big girl.
I know, but she doesn't think of herself very much, and she really needs someone to think about her for her.
She'll manage.
She's always so busy thinking about other people that I bet you she doesn't even bother cooking a lamb chop for
You certainly don't credit your mother with much of an independence or
Well,
appetite.
it's lonesome cooking for just one lamb chop.
And it's hungry if you don't.
You forget about being hungry if you're lonesome.
Yeah, so I noticed. Look, darling, why don't you call her up and get it out of your system?
But I don't want to be a mama's baby anymore, David.
No, you're not.
Anyway, just because I feel like talking to Mama doesn't mean I have to, or that I
Talking
should.
to Mama isn't going to make you feel any better, and talking to Mama won't hurt you. Go on. Phone's right there.
Oh, she'll think I'm a dope.
Well, that won't be news.
David, don't you hate me? Don't you think I'm, only half a person?
Mm-hmm. That's all you are. A half a person. Half of me.
That's nice, darling. That's just what I want to be.
Then go and call up Mama, and we'll play some checkers.
Oh, still those checkers. You have a one-track mind, you know.
That's because I'm married to a one-track woman.
Operator? Hello, operator. Please give me New York City, Plaza 5, 9835. Yeah, and my number is Eastbrook 276, Ring 3.
I've just been studying this darn, Mrs. Norton.
And what is the matter with it?
It looks like a walnut.
David, doesn't answer.
What doesn't answer?
Operator's ringing Mama's number, doesn't answer.
Good. That means that Mama's out having herself a good time, just like I said.
You don't think that she...
I don't think that there's anything wrong. Now, darling, just because Mama's phone doesn't answer doesn't mean that Mama's sick or that anything's wrong.
No, I suppose not. You can cancel that call, operator. Gosh. Can't think of anything more lonesome than the thought of a phone ringing in an empty apartment. I wonder where Mama went.
To a movie.
Oh, you know she's not the movie kind of woman.
Well, it's still early. She could be out for dinner.
Alone, it's no fun.
Darling, everything about life isn't fun, but that doesn't mean it's wrong.
David, you're so strong and independent.
That's what you think.
I'm not even good at pretending. All day I've been trying to pretend, and that's as far as I got.
And stop pretending you're with friends. You don't have to wear your outside face with me, you know.
It's all habit, that's all it is.
That's all.
I have 2 legs. I can stand on them all by myself. It's just that Mama and I are so used to being with each other. We're all each other had for a long time. But, David, I know it's not fair to you.
Now, I'll worry about what's fair to me.
Well, this mooning around isn't fair to you, whether you worry about it or not.
So, what are you going to do about it?
I'm going to stop, that's what.
You haven't started.
Much I haven't. I could kick myself around the room. All right, I'll play that game of checkers with you, Mr. Norton, and I will beat you right off the board.
Now, there. That's the kind of talk I like to hear. Uh-oh.
The baby, do you hear him?
Now, he's all right. Don't get
No,
excited.
he's not all right. He's crying.
Well, what's a little crying for a baby?
Well, he should be sleeping.
He'll go back to sleep.
I better go up and see what it is.
Want me to ask him?
Nope, I'll go up.
There aren't any lights on upstairs.
That's all right, don't worry.
I may as well come up with you. I want to get my other pipe.
Now, listen, if you think I'm afraid to go up alone, you're crazy.
I'm not crazy. If you were afraid, I wouldn't come with you.
You'll make a woman out of me. It's the last thing you do, won't you?
You're a woman already.
And I'm glad you think so, darling. Oh, put on the light in the nursery, David.
Got it. Won't the light wake him up?
He's awake already. That's why he's crying. Oh, poor little darling. What's the matter with
My
him?
own wife talking baby talk to my own son. He'll never grow up to be a man that way.
He will, in time. Now, come on, tell me, what's the matter? Thirsty? Did you have a bad dream? Come here. Oh.
All he wanted was a little attention.
Is that what you wanted? Just a little attention?
Takes after his mother.
Poor little thing. He's warm now.
Now, he's all right. Put him down.
I certainly hope that... Oh, no. There couldn't be anything the matter with him.
Probably just a tooth.
Yeah, that's the trouble with babies getting teeth. Everybody blames everything on teeth. A baby could be getting something very serious. All a person would say is probably just a tooth.
Well, it is probably just a tooth.
I wish Mama were here. Mama'd know if it were just a tooth.
Mm-hmm. Well, Bertha
Oh,
knows,
David,
too.
I'm scared.
What are you so scared about?
I miss her so.
That's why she went, darling.
Well, that's not a good reason.
That's the best reason in the world. If you didn't miss her, there'd be no point in her going.
No.
Just because she knew you'd miss her. She knew she had to go, too.
It's crazy.
Sure, it's crazy. But, darling, it's life. Here. Here's my handkerchief.
Thanks. I just got to stop being a daughter and start being a wife. After all, I am a mother now.
You must be all three, darling. A mother, a daughter, and a wife. And you know what?
What?
I'm going to see that you like being a wife, best of all.
When you're particularly eager to see a certain movie, others are also eager, it seems, and there's often a wait for seats. That wait is a lot pleasanter now that you can get ice-cold Coca-Cola right in the lobby of many movie theaters, for then you can have a Coke and wait refreshed.
Good night there, Joe.
What are you doing down here, David?
Well, I came down to do the evening chores. I'd have to snuff out the fire and put out the lights and see that the doors are all closed.
Well, while you're at it, be sure all your windows are well closed and your heat turned up.
Now, you talk as if we might expect a little bad weather sometime in the near future.
Well, as a matter of fact, I did just hear that there was going to be a big storm tonight.
A big storm?
Mm-hmm. Snowstorm. You might even be snowed deeply in tomorrow.
Oh, mercy. Snowed in. Well, I'm certainly not looking forward to that. Well, anyway, Joe, thanks very much for the warning, and I'll go to bed and sleep. That's all I know I can do about it. See you tomorrow night, Joe.
Bye, David. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now, this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
76 years ago, January 6, 1949, Claudia, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.